All right, all right, all right. Hey guys, what's
Hey, I
going
just watched
on?
that movie last night.
Says that we are Foos, I went ahead and muted you. It says that we are live, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to Caliber Corner episode number 90. Okay, looks like we're at 5 o'clock on my clock, so hopefully you guys are 5 o'clock wherever you are, or later or earlier. Got a few people just joining in right now. We've got some people on the panel I think you're going to love to hear from. And tonight the topics are going to include how it is that we transport our firearms, any of the specific rules and regulations and laws that you should know for the state that you live in or the state that we live in, and kind of what works best for us, and what we do if we can in fact travel with firearms, right? So let's go and let the panel introduce themselves while people come into the podcast to watch. And so on my left we got Squib joining us. Squib, you want to say a few words, maybe plug your channel?
I'll try. Turn my volume down a little bit because I'm at work, so it's a little loud. Yeah, hi everybody. Watch my channel. Thanks.
There we go. There we go. You want to check out Squib's channel. He's got a little regular series called Speaking Squibbish. Kind of some food for thought. They're fun videos to watch, and he's very, very cool dude. He's been with us more or less since the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. So it's good to make sure you check out his channel. Do like and subscribe on that one. All right. Also joining us, we got the Kingpin, David Bowling. What's going on, David?
Not too much, man. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
I appreciate you being here again. It still feels weird going live in the evening. I'm so hardwired for Saturday morning that evenings is just like, okay, all right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make it work. So, all right. So what's new coming up on your channel? Have you put any good content out there lately? What's new in your world?
Not too much. I got a couple things that I'm working on. Just not too sure which one's gonna be first. And then there's always the Maryland Gun Law series that I've been doing, and the Firearms Inventors Playing Card series. So you can go check those things out.
Very cool, very cool. And also joining us, we've got Foos. Foos, why don't you give us a little plug for a product that you like to push? What's new, man? What's new in your world?
New in my world, Saturday, 25,000 projectiles is going to be hitting my front porch.
Okay.
So
that's just for a weekend of you of shooting, right? That's pretty much all it is. Is that?
No, I wish I was that rich.
Okay, so why is it that you ordered that many projectiles, Foos?
So I am owner operator of Sport Shooters Ammunition, 9mm, 125 grain 9mm. Price is gonna be 190. I had to go up. I got my first tax bill. It was a little bit higher than I thought, so I'm gonna have to go up $20 a thousand. So,
wait. You mean as a business owner, the government doesn't give you any kind of a break? Yeah, the tax rate is criminal on somebody who's a self-proprietor. It's ridiculous.
Well, let's just say the government saves money from not using any oil as they get me up the backside. Anyway.
Yeah,
So
I'm just not even gonna. I'm just yeah. We're gonna let that go.
Sport Shooters Ammunition. You can contact me on Sport Shooters Ammunition at Gmail or on Facebook. Still don't have a website. Don't have enough volume to justify the $70 a month for credit card processing. Hopefully, I'll be able to get there someday. So it's a small company. Ran out of bedroom in my house, and yeah.
So they can find it through Facebook. Any luck on a website yet?
I have a landing spot,
okay,
but I don't have anything else.
Okay.
Just because for credit card processing, it's about $60 to $70 a month.
Okay.
To do that, and I can't justify that as of now.
Gotcha.
So
it is good ammo. I mean, I've burned through 450 rounds myself. I gave 50 rounds to my stepdad, and I've got another 1,000 I need to pick up here soon. And so I'll be using it quite a bit. Actually, in some upcoming videos I have in the channel, I'll be burning through it. And it's good stuff. Works fine, and it is definitely softer shooting than 115 grain. I will say that.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. And also joining us from the beautiful state of Nebraska, and actually just a little bit to my northeast, we've got Sandhills Shooter. Sandhills, what's new in your world, brother?
You know, on the map, it only looks like I'm about 4 or 5 inches away from you. So
this is true. This is true. Not drawn to scale. No.
Just hanging out at work. I'm all by myself, so that means that nobody's going to tell on me if I'm here. But that also means that I may or may not be with you the whole time, or I may or may not be available. But I'm going to hang out the best I can with you.
Well, and we're going to be covering, firearms transportation and laws and things like that. And I hope I don't screw up what I say about Nebraska's gun traveling laws, because being somebody who's a concealed carrier, it really eases things for you quite a bit. You don't worry about what a non-concealed, what a non-CCW carrier has to do. So you kind of do what you have to do and the freedoms you have with that. Unfortunately, it requires you to have that license or permit.
I think isn't it? It's pretty cut and dried though. It mostly talks about loaded firearms, doesn't it?
See, I don't even know.
Just for transport, as long as you're not doing air transport, of course, that's TSA. But
I know,
like, I don't know.
The specific laws about handguns and stuff like that. We can look them up if we need to. So, yeah. Cool. All right, well, let's check and see who's over on the gun channel side right now. I'm going to refresh that screen. David Bowling is over there, and let's see. Hopefully, I'll have a few people come join in. Guys, make sure you get over to gunchannels.com and make sure you guys support guntube.org. Looks like we've got Grandman over there. Good evening, all. I just posted on the main page of Phil. They are boxing us in, and David says hello. And so we got David and Grandman over there. And joining us on the YouTube side, man, everybody just showed up. Holy cow. All right, so let's start at the top here. We got tacos and french fries was the first person to arrive. Did you bring us tacos and french fries? We don't know. Travis T's there. Guitar Man Pete, what's up? Guy that comments, WB. Yoder, Texas, I'm here. All right, man. Muscle Dog Mafia, what's going on, dude? I need to get you on a future episode of Caliber Corner. We need to have a little pooch chat, a little canine conversation, if you will. The mech is out there. 2 Live Mood, Kinky Spinkter, Rabbit Dog 932019 2019. Dank Creepar 7 says yoink. Let's see what else we got. SS Pawn is in the house. He says, howdy, hope my boss doesn't catch me watching this during work. SS Pawn, you better go find a place to hide and watch this episode. Let's see who else is out there. John Brown Productions in the house. And we see the Kingpin's out there, and he's here. Storm and Norman Gunworks is with us, too. Alex Say is out there. Bass Boy 99091 in the house. Jason Stewart's with us. Good evening, Jason. Jason, we need to get you on Caliber Corner, I think. Blue Steel 44 and Rolling Trips running a little late. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We might have started a couple minutes early. And so no, I think we'll just go ahead and jump right into it. So, the question that we had is I had a conversation with a fellow YouTuber, person I chat with once in a while on Facebook, and this person was all excited because they're, getting into concealed carry and they've been carrying and vehicle transportation, your transportation of your firearm. Most of us are in different states except for Sandhills and I, and the rules and laws and regulations and city ordinances and stuff like that, it can be a bit of a headache. One thing for sure, you don't want to get lax. You want to make sure that you do follow the rules and laws in case you do get pulled over. You don't get yourself in trouble because maybe you've got one in the chamber and a rifle, or you've got a loaded shotgun in the vehicle. You're not supposed to do that, or you forgot to clear a weapon coming back from the range or whatnot. So I want to just talk about. So we're going to run this through the panel here. Just kind of fill us in on what the basics are, if you know them, about long gun transportation, pistol transportation. Say you're going to do a road trip, you're going to be heading out of state. What do you have to do, or is it any different if you just want to go to the range? So, Foos, we're going to start off with you, and you're in Arkansas, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, so let's just get into it. What are the laws in Arkansas if you want to transfer a long gun, shotgun, rifle, or a handgun? What do you need to know?
So, long gun, if it's in your vehicle, it has to be unloaded. Because of poaching laws. That's it. Because we have a lot of woods and natural forests around here. They don't want. Yeah. Anyway, so
you have loaded magazines and just not one in the mag well. You can't.
No. You can have one. You can have. It has to be unchambered. So
okay.
You could have a mag well in and nothing in your chamber.
Okay.
So you can't just stop on the road and pull out and.
Yeah.
As far as pistols, we are a constitutional carry state, so you could carry in your car no matter what, concealed, open, it does not matter. You can't be waving it. So if you are walking next to the vehicle, it cannot be seen, but it doesn't have to be concealed. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in a bag. It could be under your floorboard if you want it. I would advise it, but it could be there. It could be in car door. It could be pretty much about anywhere as long as it can't be seen by someone just walking by.
Okay.
So.
Any unusual like city ordinances in your capital city? Because I think in Lincoln here they've got a few laws that are a little bit different than other places.
Yeah. So in here, as long as you don't pull it out and shoot someone, you're good. There's nothing additional. So.
Okay.
Arkansas is a pretty free state when it comes to firearms.
Okay. Okay. Sounds pretty good. And then obviously when you get your CCW permit, that's just going to apply to your pistol then, right? I mean, you still have to follow the laws with the loaded guns and the visibility and this and that. I mean, it doesn't really change anything when you get your CCW other than you can just have your concealed weapon on your person. Is that all that changes?
So we're constitutional carry. So I could, with or without a license, I could carry just about anywhere. Of course, no government buildings, no stadiums, no schools, but Arkansas does have an enhanced carry to where you can carry into schools, you can carry into sporting events, you can carry into federal state buildings. But if you go into state courthouse, the judge has to know about it, stuff like that. But you could carry in police stations, stuff like that, as long as you do have the enhanced carry.
Okay.
So that's I think 16 hours of instruction and a little extra paperwork and a little, costs a little bit more, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it. I just have the regular carry. I don't go into those places that often. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So it isn't too complicated then.
No, not at all.
Not too bad. Pretty easy to follow. Okay. David Bowling, what about you? Maryland, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what do you need to know about firearms transportation in Maryland? Say you want to go leave the state. You've got a couple ARs or an AR and a shotgun and a pistol. What are you required to do? CCW versus non-CCW?
Concealed carry permit. You can pretty much do whatever you want.
So like the pistol, you can have it anywhere in the car, right? You could have it loaded in the glove box. You could have it underneath the seat. You can,
yeah.
It doesn't have to be on you.
No, okay. Not. But you have to have your concealed carry permit.
Yeah.
And as far as the rifles and stuff go, if you're going to travel with them in your vehicle, they have to be separated. They have to have, each of them have to have some type of case, whether it be a hard case, a soft case. It can't just be like wrapped in a blanket. But you can stick it in a duffel bag if that's what your case is going to be. And then the ammo has to be in a case by itself. Like you can't just toss a couple boxes of ammo in the trunk. You have to have it in some type of container.
Okay.
And separated. If you've got a trunk, if you don't have a trunk, if you're in a open cab vehicle or a single cab pickup or something like that, one of the two cases has to be locked.
Okay.
And if you don't have your concealed carry permit, you can't have anything loaded on you at any time. Unless, of course, you're at your own. If you're at your house, you can. But.
Yeah. Okay. So again, it is fairly cut and dry. It's a bit restricted, but it is pretty cut and dry. It's not hard to figure out what you got to do.
So, David, the car is not an extension of your home?
No. Now, if you're talking about along the lines of self-defense and whether or not you're committing crimes or not, if someone's trying to carjack you, then yeah, you can defend yourself that way. But if you're going out to get milk, then your car is not your home. Your car is just as restrictive as anything else if you don't have a carry permit.
Huh. Okay.
But
gotcha.
in the case, if the odd scenario, because I mean, it makes sense to talk about this. If I get ran off the road by some psycho, and I've got my handgun properly stored in the trunk of my car because I don't have a carry permit. Now this is the trunk of the car. The truck is even worse because there's a lock, which I'm going to have to get the key to, unlock the lock, get the lock off of the case, then get the firearm and the ammunition out. In a trunk, I could at least pop my trunk and then bam, get into it because then they're not locked. But they're assuming that when the guy runs me off the road and starts beating my windshield in with a baseball bat, threatening to kill me, I've got time to get out of my car, get into the trunk, get my gun out of one case, get my ammo out of the other case, load the magazine into the gun, and defend myself.
Mm.
Now, if you had all that time to do that, yes, you're still going to be covered. They're going to fight you like crazy, but in a honest world, you would be able to beat that in court.
Gotcha. Just real quick, coming from the gun channel side, we'll pick up a few here that people are commenting on, and then we'll move on over to Squib here. Grandman says, in Ohio, we have to keep the firearm unloaded and ammo kept in a separate case. Really sucks at times. Luckily, we have state preemption, concealed carry, no BS. Let's see, Texas state. No, let's see. Oh, there's a few other things going on that people are chatting about over on the gun channel side, which is good. Let's see. Okay, then over on the YouTube side, Travis T was chiming in Florida, a loaded gun in the console or glove box is legal without a CCW. No restrictions on long guns. You can literally drive down the street with a loaded AR standing upright on the seat. Travis T says Florida doesn't differentiate between loaded or unloaded on any transport laws. Clint Orris says in Missouri it's all legal. Yay, freedom. Yeah, there you go. Maybe Gizzard Gary will join in here in a little bit. We can ask him about Kansas, but with it being constitutional carry. Guitar Man Pete says Texas, we have loaded handguns in the truck, just not in plain sight. Think it's the same for long guns, just not one in the pipe. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of looks like you guys want to ask me some questions about maybe having somebody on as a guest. We can definitely look into that too. Let's see, for CCW in California, are the 20 or 30 round 5.7 mags no bueno? Okay, so Storm and Norman's asking a question out there too. Maybe you guys can help them out with that also. Okay, Squib, what about you, man? The state that you're in and any specific laws you got to follow?
For general transportation, they pretty much follow FOPA, which is you have to keep the ammunition separated from the firearm in such a way that you can't readily access it. Now, how that gets defined is by the cop that pulls you over, pretty much. So it's really not an issue. I got pulled over about 2 years ago. It was around midnight. There wasn't anybody in town. And when the light turned green, I crossed the lane, and it kind of shifted at a slight angle. So I jerked the wheel over to stay within the lines and kept on going. And I got lit up. And it was a county, it was sheriff. And she wanted to know what was going on. She said, you're doing 10 over and you're swerving. And, I let her know, hey, the road shifted back there. And honestly, I didn't know what the speed limit was. And really, she has a quota for how many contacts she has to make an hour. She was real nice and stuff. And I let her know. I said, I just want to let you know I've got a firearm in the vehicle. She could care less. I had a Enfield number 4 Mark I in a case in the back, no ammunition of any sort in my vehicle. But she didn't even care. She was like, that's nice. Let's see your driver's license, proof of insurance, register. It was, and I was kind of, I wanted to show off the gun. So I was like, hey. But, I had another situation right after I got my concealed pistol license where I got pulled over because I jumped out in traffic with not enough safe distance between me and the person out there. There was no wreck or nothing, but the cop was, I stuck out like a sore thumb, and he pulled me over. And it was early in the morning. I was running late for work. I didn't even have coffee. And I don't know, any of you guys that know me know I without coffee, I'm not there, right? So I just handed him my stuff, and he went back to the car. Next thing I know, he's got backup, and they're both approaching the car. They got their hands on their guns, and he's going, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" I'm like, what is going on here? And he goes, "You've got a concealed pistol license, and you didn't inform me." I go, "Dude, it is 6 a.m. I've had no coffee. I'm late for work, and you're pulling me over for BS." Like, I'm going to remember that I ain't got a cold piece of aluminum jabbing me in the back right now, so it's really not on my mind. I really just want to get to work. So there are two different cops at two different times with two different situations, two different counties, so it really depends on who you get, how they're going to react. But overall, we're a gun-friendly state, and you're not going to get too much grief over transporting a gun. If you have a concealed pistol license, you can have it on you, loaded, but you can't take it off body or out of your purse while you're in the vehicle. You can open carry in Michigan. Walking around, you can open carry, but as soon as you step inside of a vehicle, that's considered concealed carry, and you're violating the law. So if you have an open carry holster and you get inside a vehicle, you've now committed a crime. So you have to put it in a case before you get in the vehicle to drive away. Now, if you get to a place where they don't allow firearms inside and you're concealed carrying, you've got your permit, you've got your gun, all that other stuff, you can put your gun in the glove box of your vehicle while you're, go to work or going to the post office or whatever it is, right? As far as whether or not it can be loaded while it is in the glove box, I'm not sure. Because when I took my concealed pistol license class, they told us we couldn't do that. But since then, they've made changes to the law, and I know people that have taken the class more recently than me, and it's absolutely you can do it. And we were having a security meeting at work with the local police department, and Human Resources was like, we're going to have you guys come down here and go through everybody's vehicle to find out if anybody's got a gun. And the detective said, we're not going to do that. And she said, well, we need you to do that because they're not allowed to bring guns in their cars to work. And he said, actually, ma'am, they are. And we're not going to come down here to search anybody's vehicle who hasn't done anything. And she goes, well, then we'll just go into each vehicle and look. He said, well, you can't do that without the owner's permission. She said, well, if they don't give us permission, we'll fire them. He said, well, you can do that because we're an at-will state, at-will employer. They can just terminate you. So they were actually going to go through everybody's vehicle to find out who with a concealed carry permit had put their gun in their glove box while at work. So if you think about it, you would have been better off just leaving it inside your holster and keeping it concealed at work where they don't want you. What?
That's crazy, man.
So how do they know if you have concealed carry permit?
They don't ask you in the job interview. It's not even in the employee handbook that you can't bring a gun into work, but it's, so the police were totally with, they're like, look, you can't do that. We're not going to do that. You want to fire your employee, that's a whole separate issue. But, the thing is, if you want your employees with a concealed carry permit not to bring the gun inside work, but you're going to threaten, by the way, they never did the search either. But if you're going to threaten them with searching their private property that's in a parking space, I realize it's on the work's private property, and that's what the cop said is because it's on your premises, you can ask them to look, and if they say no, then you can fire them, but you can't force them. If you want the employee to keep, not bringing it into work, you can't necessarily dictate that they can't leave it in their car either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he did say that the police were not going to support any of that at all. They were not going to come down there. They were not going to just start, going through our stuff. And so I thought that was a good thing. And like I said, it just depends on what officer you get, what county you're in, but overall we're a gun-friendly state, and overall transporting firearms really isn't an issue here. You just don't. The only way you can have it in your vehicle loaded that I am aware of is if you have a concealed pistol license and it is concealed on body or in a purse. You can't, like I know some states, you can take it out of your holster and set it on the dashboard or the front seat while you're driving. The cops actually want to see it when they pull you over. They don't want it. In other states, they want it out of sight. So here you cannot do that. You can't have a loaded rifle in your vehicle, but you can carry as many rifles as you want and as much ammunition as you can fit. They just can't. I've heard readily accessible being like you could keep the shells on the floorboard on the passenger side and keep the rifles in a case in the back seat. That's another thing too. Everything has to be cased. It doesn't have to be locked. Yeah. And a paper bag is a case. So you could literally throw a gun in a grocery bag and call it that Crown Royal bag, High Point holster, that's a case. As long as it's in a case, and it's unloaded, you're good.
Well, that's
funny. Whenever I go to the range, and I take long guns, I'll have like 6 or 7 long guns just tossed in the cab of the truck. No case, no nothing. No, that's not needed in Arkansas.
Well, Travis, you remember my reaction when you're like, hey, could you get the AR out of the back of the Jeep? And I just opened the door, and there it is sitting there with a mag in it and everything ready to go. And I'm like,
all the guns were loaded.
And you're like, what? You're all like, what? What's the big deal? What?
Like, shouldn't you have this in the case? I was like, no, why would you do that? That makes it harder to get to if you need it. Well, we do, believe it or not, we do have some unusual laws for firearms and stuff, but yeah, I mean, if I was living in a state where they'd require me to case it, and obviously I do that. When I do traveling to the parents' house or the grandparents, everything's in cases, and I don't keep magazines in them. But if I'm just running to the range and stuff, yeah, it's really no big deal. Now, loaded shotguns are a different situation in Nebraska because of what our laws say. But the funny thing is, Scooby, talk about that reaction from they said the lady that wanted to search the vehicles, and the reaction you got from that police officer when they found out that you did not inform them. Do people and human beings just not understand that the licensed concealed carrier, we're not the threat, we're not the bad guy. It's like everything gets escalated because you're a licensed, registered gun carrying human being. Like suddenly everything has to be amped up. Like you are going to be more likely to draw because you went through the process of getting a CCW. You paid hundreds of dollars to get it. You were responsible in following the laws, but they just think that you're going to start a gunfight or something. I don't understand this mentality. Why can't cops maybe cops are cool in general?
Background.
Yeah. Well, the background checks I had to do, and the fingerprinting is ridiculous.
Okay, your average person doesn't understand. But the average person doesn't understand that. I had an employee at work. Was talking about a problem she was having with her boyfriend, and her coworker next to her said, "It's no problem. I'll call my cousin. He's got a CCW. He'll come over and handle it." I said, "Do you actually think that because he has a concealed pistol license that now he has a license to kill?" She actually thought he had a state license to go shoot somebody.
Oh my
God! That's how ignorant. Okay, and on the other side, when we had another meeting with the police department, and that same human resource director was there. She said, if an employee is on site and they've got a concealed carry gun on them and they've got a permit, then we are going to have you come down here and arrest them. And that same detective I'm face palming at this point. And I said, you can't do that. I said, it's illegal. And she looks over at the detective and he goes, what do you want me to tell you? He's right. He says, if they're in here and it's your policy that there's no guns in here, all you can do is ask them to leave. If they refuse to leave, then we can come and get them for trespassing. But if you don't ask them to leave, we can't arrest them if they have a valid permit and the gun is not stolen or nothing like that. And as long as the person doesn't brandish it or anything like that. And the director just didn't understand. It's like, because she's not a gun person, she doesn't get it. So.
Well, they also
and the other thing too is that place was a very abusive place. They were abusive to their employees, but the pay and benefits were awesome. Okay, so they really pushed a lot of people. They had a few incidents where they walked people out, and I was the security. I was there to take them down if they got out of line. And at a certain point, they had me working with the local police because they would have a couple cruisers set in at work because they were so scared of what some of these people would do, only because they knew that they had been abusing. I mean, some of the things that they would do to people at work was pretty. I'm surprised people didn't explode from stress. I'm not kidding. But people wanted to work there because of the pay and benefits and some of the working conditions and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, how about if you just stop making this place so stressful and so abusive, and then you don't have to worry about somebody coming back in and doing a workplace violence situation. But they weren't about to do that. Instead, that they didn't want employees, like you were saying, that had been vetted and had background checks and all this other stuff to leave. I would want some people there carrying just in case. I wouldn't want to make it known who was carrying, but I would want to make it known that yes, we encourage employees who have the legal right to carry in here. We don't know who has it, what day, and how many people, and blah, blah, blah. But just be warned, if you think you're going to come in here because you got mad, somebody's going to be here to deal with you on every floor of this building and every area of the building. We just don't know who. That would be enough deterrence to make a couple people say, but instead it was known that that place with all the employees that were in all the entrances and all the lack of security and stuff was a soft target. And I can tell you it's a minimum of 8 minutes for the police, who are on the same street, by the way, to get there. Minimum of 8 minutes. You can do a lot of damage in 8 minutes. So I think that some of these laws about transporting guns, I understand the reasoning behind them, but at a certain point they become ridiculous, and they kind of really, like what you were saying, if it's in a case, it's harder to get to, right?
When it comes down to the scary person with the gun, though, there's a lot of media that's got to do with that, because if you look at the original George Zimmerman story, everybody said Trayvon would be alive if he didn't have a gun. Now, when you actually heard the facts behind the story and what was going on, George Zimmerman might not be alive if he didn't have a gun, but we won't go into that. But the story is, everybody that just read the headline some kid's dead because this guy was Mr. Night Watchman and super security guy that ended up shooting somebody because he had a gun. Then the same exact instance, we just had a situation like Squib was talking about, a soft target here in Maryland a year or two ago when those reporters were all shot. The story behind that was a crazy guy with a gun. He came in here and he attacked us all. None of us had guns, and this place was perfectly safe until the guy with the gun showed up. And that's a lot of what we're facing. Is not that the people don't care or they're anti-gun or whatever, but when somebody comes home from work and plops down on the couch and flips on the evening news and sees a bad guy showed up with a gun and started killing people, then he flips over to his favorite sitcom, gets a shower, has some dinner, goes to bed, and wakes up the next day. He doesn't know that anything but the bad guy showed up with a gun. The place was 100% safe yesterday. Today, somebody showed up with a gun, and now people are dead.
Mm.
And that's something that we have to. How do you fight against that? The only way you can fight against that is do like G-Web said, be the new media. Be here doing Caliber Corner, talking about it, like hoping that some more people show up in the chat or share this, that the message can be out there.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to turn this into a concealed carry conversation, but concealed carry in some places like Michigan has something to do with being able to carry a firearm. When I went to Pennsylvania in January for the rally, I couldn't bring a gun into that state, period, in any way, shape, or form. FOPA be damned, because I didn't have a concealed pistol license. I let mine expire. So if I had my Michigan concealed pistol license still, I could transport a gun in a case, unloaded, with no ammo, blah, blah, blah. Never mind concealed or anything else like that. I can't physically enter the state of Pennsylvania with a firearm in any way, shape, or form because I don't have my Michigan concealed pistol license current. And that's ridiculous. But in some cases, that's the law, and that's what you got to follow, unfortunately. So I think they kind of go hand in hand, transportation and concealed carry.
Well, and you might be misinformed yourself because with an 8-hour concealed carry class, you might not catch every single detail, or you might think you know the law. And once you get that concealed carry permit, you might think that you can just carry a concealed weapon anywhere in your vehicle when it might be required. It's only on your person. So there's a lot of little complexities that go along with getting that CCW permit and transporting firearms in general. And it can be confusing. I definitely keep up on your state law because they do change those things constantly. They can change an ordinance or a little section of a law on a whim, and you might not realize it until you open up the rule book and you're like, oh, that changed. Who knew about that, right? And then that's the stuff that you're held accountable for. So it can be a big deal. Rob D is saying on the YouTube side that in New York State, I can keep handguns on me with a permit and long guns unloaded in the rear or the trunk of the vehicle. No case that I know of is needed, but I use a duffel bag with gun socks, the sock to cover up the gun if necessary. Calaveras 32 Special says, put it on a credit card at Travis P11. I didn't catch what it was that you had mentioned. I was bouncing between a bunch of different screens here. See if there's
I think he might have been talking about me because I put everything on a credit card.
Oh, okay. I got you.
I'm not a cash guy.
No. I hear it. I'm debit card pretty much all the way. So there were a few more people that chimed in on this. Let's see. Nigerian Pride says it's legal in Tennessee without a permit on your private property, car, or your house. So in many places, the car is considered your own private property, and so it's almost considered an extension of your home. Let's see. It also says it's legal in Tennessee to carry with, and your message got cut off. So Kansas is just as great as Missouri. So again, you want to just make sure, definitely make sure that you know the laws. And I want to talk about just Nebraska law real quick. I've got a quick summary here, and you guys can see how your laws compare, because you might think, oh, Nebraska is the big open prairie, the big Wild West. They let you do whatever. No, not necessarily. In fact, Lincoln and Omaha have a few specific ordinances that I'm not going to go into, but there are some specifics you need to know if you go there. It says Nebraska does not generally require firearms in vehicles to be unloaded or locked, although Nebraska prohibits carrying a loaded shotgun in or on any vehicle on any highway. So, I've known about that since taking some hunter safety courses way back in the day. If the vehicle is in a safe school zone, a person may still possess a firearm within the vehicle if, one, he or she is an adult non-student and the firearm is unloaded and encased or in a locked gun rack in or on the vehicle, or two, he or she is a concealed carry permit holder and the handgun is carried concealed. So again, that's what I was talking to Sandhills earlier. There's a lot of the rules and laws that I don't have to worry about because I have that CCW, but unfortunately I had to pay the money and jump through all the hoops to get it. Nebraska law allows a concealed handgun permit holder to carry a concealed handgun in a vehicle, even in the parking area of a location where concealed handgun possession is generally prohibited. The only requirement is that, and this is where it gets weird, prior to exiting the vehicle, the permit holder must lock the handgun inside the glove box, trunk, or other compartment of the vehicle or a storage box securely attached to the vehicle. So as you guys know, I've got a Jeep Cherokee XJ Sport. It's the boxy Cherokee, right? There's no divided compartments. There's no separated compartments in the vehicle. It's all open inside like a van. Luckily, I've got a glove box that is lockable, so that's how I can store a firearm if I need to. Now, I do have a lock box if I need to secure a firearm for whatever reason, and I don't want to leave it in the vehicle hidden, or I got to worry about somebody doing something to it or whatnot. This is not 100%, but I do have a lock box, which is in a hard bolted position in the vehicle so that it can't just be taken out. Notice what it says there. Prior to exiting, you have to store it. So how am I going to get to this lock box, which is underneath my spare tire way in the back? Am I going to crawl over my seats with a loaded weapon to store it in a lock box? And so I'm not going to say that I jump out of my vehicle with a loaded gun and pop the hatch and lock my gun in there, but that would be an option for somebody. But that's kind of a gray area. I don't know if I necessarily have that kind of freedom to set foot in the parking lot, physically move with a loaded weapon on me to lock it in the lockbox. So like I said, luckily my Jeep's got a lockable glove box, which is something I can do in a pinch if I need to. So that's just something kind of odd. So it's like we got this great rule, but it says you got to have it locked in there. And so it's like, how do you get it there if you can't actually exit the vehicle? That makes no sense to me. I've always wondered that, and it's been that way for forever. An employer may prohibit permit holders from carrying concealed handguns in vehicles owned by the employer. But I don't believe, unless it's a federal property or a state government property, I don't believe they I don't know Nebraska law says. I'll have to look it up whether or not you can store a firearm in the parking lot in the vehicle outside of work if they don't want that. I don't know if they can say yes or no. I think Nebraska law says that you have to allow people to be able to store the firearm safely in their vehicle. So we might have the law that says you can, that you are able to store it and the employer can't say no. And then the last part, this is where it gets really interesting. Nebraska prohibits the possession of a shotgun or rimfire rifle while operating or riding on a snowmobile unless the long gun is unloaded and enclosed in a carrying case. The state also prohibits the owner of a snowmobile from allowing any person to operate the snowmobile while possessing a shotgun or rifle unless the shotgun or rifle is unloaded and encased. So Squib, the next time you ride shotgun with me, no pun intended, on the snowmobile across the plains of Nebraska, we got to make sure that the gun is unloaded. So
I'll walk. Thanks.
I don't. Is because they're thinking somebody's gonna have it across their lap while they're scouting out the deer. I'll see snowmobiles in Nebraska, but they're generally on the back of a trailer and they're coming back from Colorado. There are some people that snowmobile here. God knows this winter we had the snow for it, but it's not really. I don't know anybody that actually owns a snowmobile. So
I would think that's the same. It's just a snowmobile / ATV kind of. When I was deer hunting last year, we used ATVs to get out, and we were on private property, but we still put them in cases when we transported them across private property, and it's probably just to make sure, just in case DNR shows up, that because just like you get a different cop in a different county, DNR, you get one that's really cool and one that's like, no, I'm going to interpret the law my way. But you made me think of something. As far as me riding my motorcycle, if I get on my motorcycle and I'm open carrying, it's considered being inside of a vehicle. So I cannot open carry on my motorcycle. And then as far as transporting, I try to get a straight answer on if I could put the gun in a case in one saddlebag and the ammo in the other saddlebag. But I never did get a straight answer from Michigan State Police on that. But I'd imagine that's probably the same sort of thing. I guess it's left up to interpretation when you get pulled over. But I'm thinking the snowmobile thing is probably just like the whole ATV thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing the same thing. I mean, anybody that I know and I do know people that have ATVs and they've got gun scabbards on them. Nobody that I know drives around with a gun in their hands while they're riding it, while they're rolling in an ATV. That's just straight up stupid because of the terrain that you're going to be going over. Tacos and French Fries says many of the gun laws make no sense since they're made by people who have never even shot a gun, let alone carry one. And that is true. I mean, just look at the vehicle thing. How am I supposed to secure it in my vehicle if I can't access my trunk without physically getting out of the car first? And so I'd have to pull off into the street and do it and then pull into the parking lot, which I mean, I've actually done that before, believe it or not. So for many times it's just easier to have that CCW and just go that route, so you don't have to worry about alerting anybody. Although here, people get out and move their rifles and adjust their firearms, you see that. It's not a big deal. People open carry here and stuff like that. So now the second part of this discussion is recommendations for cases, best ways to transport the firearms. Are you just a gun sock person? Are you a hard case person? Soft case? What works best for you? Let's start off with long guns. So David, if you're going to travel with your AR-15, do you have like a hard case for it, like a Pelican case or a nice hard case like a who's the company that makes the tackle boxes? They also make cases for Plano. Yeah. What works for you for transporting that AR if you were going to go somewhere? What's your go-to?
I prefer to store my guns and travel with them in hard cases. I've got a couple that are still left in soft cases just because I've been too lazy to go buy hard cases for them.
Yeah.
And if I'm taking a pistol to the range, if I take one or two, I'll just usually put them in the case that they came in, or one of the like little zip up cloth cases that I got for them. But if I have the opportunity, I prefer transporting them in cases just to keep them from getting banged around, and it's easier for me to store them that way because I don't use a safe.
Okay. Yeah. So you said with the pistols too, you'll put them. Do you have to have that chamber lock if you're going to travel to the range and come home from the range? You have to have that barrel lock thing.
No, that's only for when you buy a gun from a store and you actually leave the store the day you can take possession of it, or when you take possession of the gun at your FFL. For instance, the other day we went to an FFL with my friend's handgun with no chamber lock in it or anything. It was unloaded. It didn't have a magazine with it, but it didn't have one of those in there, and the FFL can accept it that way. But when I went to go pick it back up, I couldn't leave unless I had one.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you mentioned that before. We've talked about that before too. So yeah. In the hard cases, you can spend a lot of money on those things, and they do take up a lot of room. You got to make sure they'll fit in your vehicle. They won't be too wide to actually fit in the back seat, or that's so. The soft cases are a little bit nicer, and if you really look around, there's a ton of options. Even your local Walmart's probably got a dozen different types of soft or hard cases in stock, or maybe 5 or 6. You can usually find something that'll work for you. One of the problems I run into is some of the firearms that I have are too long for a case. I end up having to use a gun sock. Like my Mosin won't fit in any transportation case that I have at all. It's too lengthy for that. I got a shotgun that this big tall one behind me is what my I've got a Mossberg. What is it? I can't remember what is it. 590 trophy slugster, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look it up again. But anyway, that thing is really long with a huge barrel on it and stuff, and it does not fit well in shorter cases.
Yeah, it took us a long time to find a hard case for my friend's 308.
Oh yeah,
It's huge.
Yeah, like you look at those soft cases, and it's a pain in the butt. So, now Calaveras is chiming in, and he says, long distance traveling of firearms with scopes prefer hard case, but short distance to buddy's place then soft works. Long guns without scopes are usually soft cases. Yeah, that's another part of it too. Is if you put optics on your firearm, you've definitely got to have some height in that case if you want it to fit. That is for sure something you got to watch out for there. All right, and so Squibby, what about you? Let's talk about what works best for you when you travel or transport those rifles and firearms. What do you do for going out of state, trips to the range? What do you prefer?
Paper grocery bag. No, even though the grocery bag is considered a case, I have hard and soft cases. The soft cases are nylon. One of them I got from Midway USA, and it is a shooting mat. So you can fit 3 long guns inside the case, and there's pouches on the outside for ammo or handguns, and then you can unclip everything and fold it out, and it becomes a shooting mat. So it's that's a really nice thing to have. Anybody who's never used a shooting mat, go shoot in the prone position on concrete. You'll change your mind real fast. I've got some hard cases. They're Planos or the red heads that you buy at Bass Pro Shop. They're made by Plano. Yeah.
Planos are good. They're a little bit of money, but they're also going to work, and you only need to buy one. They're going to last you a very long time, and sometimes even have like a lifetime warranty on them if something would break, like a bracket or a hinge or whatnot.
Well, something you said that made me think about something that I've done is I've bought a few used long guns, and they've come in cases. Now, I've been at the gun show, and they've had the really chintzy gun sock. It's not even like the Allen gun sock that you can get that's at least somewhat decent. And then I got a a used shotgun, and it had a crappy old plastic case, but it did close. You know, both halves of it. It did shut, but I was like, I'm not going to use this. But the thing is, though, it's like you were saying, is it long enough to carry a shotgun or a Mosin?
Mm-hmm.
And it actually did come in handy. A couple times I needed to transport a Mosin or that shotgun, and I didn't have a case long enough. And it's like, well, I still got this crappy. I mean, it don't look so good, but it works. It's legal. And that's just it. Just like you take old holsters and throw them in a box, or you take leftover AR-15 parts and you throw them in a box. If you buy a used gun and you get a case that you don't like, even a gun sock, just throw it in a box or put it away somewhere. Put it in the back of the closet or whatever. You never know when you might need it. Somebody might buy a long gun off of you, and they don't have a way to transport it, and maybe your state has a law that where they want a case to put it in, and you just give them this old case. It's serviceable. It's legal. It don't look the best, but it's legal. So I don't recommend throwing them away, even if you don't like them.
Yeah. Man, a lot of people chiming in on the chats here. So over here on the YouTube side, Jason Stewart says, for pistols, I like soft cases that fit inside my range bags. Rifles, I like hard cases because of driving a pickup with tools in the bed. Yeah, it's another part. You always have stuff floating around all over the place. Let's see here. Guy that comments says, should an employer, private or government, be allowed to fire an employee for having a gun in their car and denying search of the vehicle? You know, when you go to work for an employer and there's no state law to protect you, and if you sign up for that job and you've got that job, and one of the conditions of that job, and I don't agree with this at all, but one of the conditions of the job is that you cannot have a loaded or unloaded firearm in your vehicle. You know, I mean, you don't really have an option. If you want to agree to their terms, that's their terms. I mean, you say, well, they can't search your vehicle without a warrant, but you're on their property. And sometimes, you know, if they think that you're not following company policy, and again, I don't agree with it at all. I think you should be able to safely secure your firearm in your vehicle however you want to or however you're supposed to, right? So, you know, should they be able to fire you? Guys, what do you think about this? This is a really hard one for me. I mean, the business owners got their property. They've got their rights. I don't support that at all, but this is also a country where people can have those kinds of rights, and you can choose not to support that business or work for that business. What do you guys think about that? Should you be allowed to be fired if you don't allow your employer to search your vehicle because they think you have a weapon in your vehicle and you're not supposed to? You guys have any thoughts on that at all?
I don't care if it's a weapon, drugs, which I don't do, or a MAGA hat. It's my vehicle. I don't care if it's parked on their private property. That's where I have to park in order to get into the building to go to work for them. They need me more than I need them. If they want to search my vehicle, they can get bent. If it costs me my job, fine. I'm not dealing with that. If they had that search that they talked about when we had that meeting, I would have refused, and it might have cost me my job. But there's a certain point, and don't get me wrong, I pretty much follow my orders at work. I pretty much do more for my employer than is required, more so than maybe I should. And I usually end up with the short end of the deal no matter what. But that's a line for me I'm not willing to cross. It doesn't matter if I didn't have anything in there or not. That's my car. No, we're not doing it. Same thing with my toolbox. I've got my toolbox right here in the maintenance cage, and it's locked up all the time. If they said, we want to search your toolbox, all right, we're done here. That's it. I don't care. And it's not that I'm hiding something. It's just, this is mine. I brought it here so I can do a better job at work because your tools suck. Or my vehicle's here because, well, if you want me to walk to work, I'll see you tomorrow because it's going to take that long to walk here. So, yeah, I'm not willing to bend on that one. I don't know. I mean, man, it'd have to be something where the economy is really bad and everybody's hurting for a job, and it's like we're on one income and we desperately need me to bend on that, I would say. So I guess I shouldn't say never, but for the most part, no, just on a principle thing.
It's okay, Matt Sexy. He's got the blue wrench and he thinks he accidentally did something to another viewer. That's okay. These things happen. So let's see where we at here. Blue Seal 44 says employers can't search your vehicle. They're not trained in probable cause. Never heard of anything like that. Guy that comments says it's perfect for them when you get stabbed to death at your employer's parking lot. Yeah, that makes it really inconvenient for you if you can't have your firearm out there or you can't have it on your person. Storm and Norman says, you're going to go to Wanamaker in November. I want to. I get 2 personal days per year, but I will be looking for a new teaching job next spring because we're moving. And so it depends if I've got something lined up, if I can burn those 2 days. Otherwise, I'd have to take a deduction and pay to be gone. Let's see here. There was another person that made a comment. Let's see, tacos and French fries. It says, I agree with you, but some people need their job, so they have to follow the rules of the employer, etc. If it's in your vehicle, no, absolutely not. So we've got some definite contrasting opinions on there. That's a good question because we've never really talked about that before. What do you do? You know,
that's why I said if the economy was really bad and there wasn't work, like right now, if you don't live in a place right now where you can't get pissed off and go down the street to another job, move up here because you can do this. And this is kind of like the 1990s. We could do that back then, and it was great. So right now, our employers need us more than we need our jobs. Yeah. In 2008, it wasn't that case. In 2008, I probably would have let my arm get twisted.
There's a lack of skilled machinists and laborers that can do technical jobs. I mean, there's, that's another part of it too. So there is a demand for the employee that's trained in certain job fields too.
When the economy's good and you can just go get another job, you can literally just go get another job, then I think standing up on your principles is a good thing. But when the economy's bad and you got your family at home and maybe one of you's lost your job because of the economy and you could be on the verge of losing yours, then yeah, I guess. But otherwise though, it's a principle thing. So there are times where I have compromised my principles to be practical, to be, so I guess I shouldn't. I should be careful what I say if I want to be accurate, but I totally get you tacos and French fries. I totally understand what you're saying.
Good suggestions here. Blue Steel 44 AR pistols fit perfectly in old tennis racket cases that you can buy for 50 cents each at Goodwill or Salvation Army. That's a good suggestion because I'm looking for something I can easily transport that doesn't look too tactical to carry in and out of my vehicle and to have when I travel. For my new 300 Blackout pistol, I'm going to be looking for some easy way to transport it that's kind of nondescript, I guess you could say. Cheap yoga mat works for prone shooting. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. Tingler 1313 says hire somebody to make you a case made of wood, metal, plastic. Okay, that's a possibility too. Let's see here. Guy that comments says, when will they start random searching teachers at school? Stop teachers from illegal CCW. Guy that comments that's a good question. All right. So we're not allowed to conceal carry at school, and I don't. I think it's wrong that I can't. I wish we could. When will they start randomly searching? I think if they fear you have a weapon on you, or if somebody sees it, they're going to search you for it. But I don't know if your average teacher is willing to sacrifice everything they've done and everything they've worked for and the education that they've had and the time and the hours and the years of their life they put into what they do to carry a gun. Now, there might be people that have them. There might be some people that have them in their purses. There might be somebody that ankle carries. So you're saying your life isn't as important as your job, right? But I think that there's a lot of risk in a teacher that would be concealed carrying at school for their career. Again, it might not be easy for you to find another teaching job. But I mean, yeah, if that happened to me, I would be arrested, fired. I'd lose my certificate for so many years. Of course, I would live to see another day if there was a gunman in the building, but it's just an ugly balance that you have to try to find as a public school teacher. Okay. So yeah, that's a pretty interesting question. Let's see here. And then I did get an email here. I want to talk about this real quick before I forget. This is from Solo Yaker. I think it's Yaker. In Florida, open carry is generally illegal unless hunting, fishing, or camping. Michael Taylor has taken the lead for open carrying fishing events all over the state. Here's a link to the video that made his channel blow up, and it's pretty much Florida's version of CJ Grisham. And if you guys want to post a link for that video on the chat, we can certainly put it over on the Gun Channel side too. We can definitely get that out there. So yeah, it is kind of interesting that you can't open carry unless you're doing some sort of a sporting activity. So that's, yeah. And even then, I wonder if you can open carry to the sporting activity or from the sporting activity, or if the firearm has to be stowed until you get to your destination or once you leave until you get home. It's kind of an interesting little way to look at it. Now, the other part I want to talk about, Gizzard Gary's here. I know you've been here for a while, bro. Gizzard Gary, why don't you give us a little intro to yourself, the channel, what's new, what's going on, buddy? You got a couple shows that you're doing now. Why don't you tell us about it for a minute?
Yeah, I do a couple shows. I do Foul Territory on Friday nights, 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And
okay.
Panel discussion. Then I do kind of an open lobby show on Sunday morning called Early Bird Chat. That's at 10 Eastern, 9 Central in the mornings.
Yep.
So that's kind of a free-for-all. Anybody come in and keep the discussion reasonable, but we talk about whatever comes to mind there.
Cool. And what do you got for new content coming up on your channel? So you got the live podcast. You got any little range tests coming up? Are you going to give us an update on the TX22 or?
Well, right now I'm still running through stuff I recorded at Wanamaker. I got about half my stuff out, but I have several more yet to come. And I do have some range testing coming because I bought about 1,000 rounds of 9mm ammo I got to burn through. So I'm gonna have to review some guns. So
I got 500 coming up. I'm actually gonna do a budget pistol light range test. We're gonna put some rounds through the gun to see if the thing actually holds up. It's like a $23 pistol light, and I bought a few of them, but never really put them through any kind of rigor at all. So we're actually gonna put one to the test and see if it can survive actually being fired. And I've got 1,000 rounds waiting for me of SSA ammo that I will be buying. That's the key word here from Foos. So it's just sitting in a location. I need to go pick it up. But anyway, so that's what's going to be going on here. Travis T says to and from work is legal as well. We tend to park a long way from fishing spots just to take the walk. There you go. So Gizzard Gary, fill us in real quick. Transportation of firearms in Kansas. We know you got that beautiful constitutional carry. And all I got to do is go about 35 miles south to enjoy that wonderful freedom. So what is it with the transporting of the firearms in a constitutional carry state where you live, which is Kansas?
Well, there isn't a whole lot forbidden, really. You can carry wide open, fully loaded. You can hide them under your seat, put them in your glove box, stick them in your pocket, whatever you want to do. Long guns, short guns. The only thing you can't do is carry in a school zone.
Okay, so when you say carry in a school zone, can you CCW on you to go pick your kids up from school, or if you need to go in the building, you just stow the firearm in your vehicle and you can go into the school? Is it a no-no in the parking lots or what?
Yeah, it's pretty much a no-no on the grounds, depending on your interpretation, even driving by a school. But if you have, like I do, if you have a concealed carry license, then you don't have to worry about that either. So.
But you can't carry into the school, correct?
I can't go into the physical building, but I could park outside. I could drive up to it. I'm not in any danger. But no, I can't go into buildings. I can't go in a sports stadium or anything like that.
Yes, Nebraska is the same way. No sporting events, whether it's high school or collegiate. No high school competitive events. Federal buildings, hospitals, government buildings, anything marked. I got you.
I can have it in my car going to work. They can't stop me.
Okay. In the parking lot, it can be out there. Unless you work in an area where it's a potential hazard because of what you're around. Say you work at a natural gas factory. They might not want that in the parking lot.
Well, it might be. I know that.
Yeah, there could be some very extenuating circumstances. So, yeah. Wallet gun for my prison wallet. Oh, there we go. That sounds comfortable. Cooking burgers on the grill. Armament Access says. Armament, I need to send you an invite. I don't think I sent you an invite, man. We need to get you in here. All right. So again, people are just kind of chiming in with what they do. Now, the other question I have for you guys is, when it comes to actually carrying that CCW on you, and Gary, you might know about this. Have you ever considered like a vehicle holster to put it in while you're driving? Would that be a bad option? Is it more comfortable for you guys to drive, without your firearm on you? Or I know if you guys don't conceal, but what like vehicle holsters, would you ever consider having one of those mounted in your vehicle or putting one in your vehicle?
I would consider it. I haven't. Let's put it that way. I pretty much just keep it on me in the same place I carry it, which is pocket carry. But I have experimented with, sticking something in between the seat and the console and stuff like that. But as far as permanently mounting something in the car, I haven't. But I wouldn't be against it if I could find something that worked really well.
There may be like some double-sided tape options with holsters. A lot of guys will just buy a Kydex holster. They'll just, instead of using the mounts, they'll just drill screws or mount it into directly to the side of the console. So it's just screwed in there so they can take it out if they need to. I thought about doing that to my Jeep because I've just got this plastic console. There's not a lot of complicated electronics running through that console. I could easily drill screws into it if I wanted to, or I could drill the holster and mount it underneath the glove box or under the my knees, So that would be, I would say, definitely don't bubba this one. I would say get yourself maybe a holster that's designed for the vehicle if that's the way you want to go. Personally, I would say keep it on you. It's probably most secure that way, especially in the event of an accident. Stay locked into the holster.
Well, the only thing is, to me, if I got to get out of this car right away, I don't want to have to think with getting it out of one holster, putting it in another, having to be obvious about, I'm getting in the car, getting out of the car. If I keep it on me, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. The person that was asking the questions about this, they said, I'm kind of worried about it maybe wearing a hole in my seat because depending on your 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, however you carry, it could rub into your seat. If you got a certain kind of seat, it could potentially wear a hole into it. Depending on the kind of vehicle you have, the type of seats that you have, if you got big cushy seats, like a bench seat or like a pickup truck or something, it might not be an issue. But if you got, say, a sports car or something with some sporty seats with like some aggressive side bolsters, it might press that firearm into you or it might get in the way of the seatbelt. So you definitely want to practice that a little bit, especially if you've got that CCW and you want to have it on you all the time, right? And then obviously having the right kind of holster for a situation like that, you're inside the waistband versus outside the waistband, that can have a huge effect on how you roll, how you drive with your firearm on you.
You also gotta remember the number one safety rule: one hand on the gun, one hand on the cell phone.
Yeah.
You're straight. You can drive anywhere you need to go.
There you go. Well, once we get these self-driving cars, we don't have to worry about it. So it's going to be all set to go. So my suggestion to somebody, if you want to get one of those holster, I would say have a secondary firearm if you want to travel with the second firearm that you can lock up when you get to wherever you go so nobody can see it in your vehicle. Because I know Never Enough Ammo Matt always talks about having his Taurus PT-809 in his vehicle as a secondary vehicle, I think, instead of his primary. But or a secondary weapon in his vehicle instead of his primary carry. So, but yeah, so you got that option. But I'd say get some sort of professional mounting system that's going to work where something that's designed to go in your vehicle and it's going to be secure. The gun magnets, I don't know how I feel about those things. I guess you might want to be careful so it doesn't ruin the finish on your firearm. If you got a really expensive firearm that you have on you, you don't want it to get scratched and stuff. But a gun is a tool. It's going to get used. It's going to get worn out. I would worry about having the firearm sitting on one of those little gun magnets that'll stick it underneath. I've seen those advertised before. If you hit your brakes hard enough or you have a collision or an accident, that firearm can go flying. And God forbid it gets caught on something in the trigger guard and it goes off, depending on the kind of firearm that you have. I would say definitely consider a holster option if you're going to do something, or some place where you can securely put it where it's not going to go if you have to hit the brakes or you have to accelerate or you have to swerve, right? You don't want the firearm to be tumbling around inside the cabin of the vehicle.
Look at the bright side of things.
Yeah.
If you live in a state like mine that you don't have a carry permit and you need to lock them up and put them in cases, just look at it like super duper concealed carry. Because it's going to be in my trunk in a case separate from the ammo. That's super duper concealed.
That's double super duper secret concealed carry is what that is. Oh man, I'll tell you what. So I guess that's what I would say with the transport is, just get something that's designed for it. I would say keep it on your person at all times, but you want that second weapon, that's the way to go. If you're going to travel with, say, an AR pistol or a rifle, if that's going to be your primary weapon you're going to have on you, and there could be a situation where that's all you have, you got to watch how you're going to set that thing in your vehicle so it doesn't go flying. Things get a little bit complicated when you do that. Then again, it depends on the kind of vehicle that you have. Can you reach into the back seat easily? Do you have a huge, passenger compartment where it could potentially fall over and you can't access it if you need to? But definitely keep it on your person if you're going to do that. So yeah, when it comes to the transport and stuff, again, make sure you know your rules. Make sure you've got adequate cases to transport those things or something that's going to suffice for you. Let's just see if anybody's mentioning anything. I just checked the gun channel side. There's nothing over there. Let's see. Warsaw Patriot says Trump was found not guilty from the Mueller report today. Funny part is a lot of the media was reporting that they had nothing on him. That's just crazy. Warsaw Patriot says, hello, Travis. Hey, what's going on, man? I know people still think they can find something on him. Let's see. What else do we have here? What about the holster mount that attaches to the bottom of your seat with straps? If it's secure, Adam, I would say go with it. That shouldn't be an issue. Adam, I think we need to get you an invite, man. If you're available, I got to get you on my regular list here. So let's see. Let's get you an invite. I know this makes for a fantastic episode here, but I got to invite you initially. I invited like 12 people to this one. I think we can get a couple more people going on here. So, all right. So here you go, Adam. All right. Squib, any thoughts on traveling with a pistol at all? Would you say that you do? Like, would you recommend a vehicle holster or just keep it on your person? Or Squib, what do you think?
Where I'm at, it's got to be in a case separate from the ammo, just like a rifle, and unless you're concealed carrying it. And if you're concealed carrying it, you can't take it out if you're uncomfortable and just set it somewhere. You would have to take it out and put it in a case and unload it. But I don't know. What I'd like to see change in Michigan is the part about the open carry law, where you can't enter a vehicle open carrying. If I can open carry walking down the street, I don't know why I can't open carry in a vehicle. But you know, that's another fight for another time.
Yeah. So joining us, we got Rich. Rich Wise with us. Rich, why don't you give us a little plug for the channel since you're joining us right now? What's going on, bro? How you doing, man? Rich might be fiddling around with his microphone at this point. Rich, you with us, bud? All right, we'll come back to you in just a minute. You're probably trying to find the mute button. But yeah, so that's kind of the little discussion we wanted to have on transporting the firearms. Again, I appreciate you guys definitely chiming in over there on the YouTube side and the gun channel side with what works best for you. And I think what we'll do is move on to the next section of the show, which we had a viewer request that said, hey, what's your favorite kind of weird guns or novelty guns? And there's a lot of them that are out there. That Thunderstruck volley fire gun that we were seeing earlier that fires the 2 shots at one time of 22 Magnum, that's definitely one of those guns that's up there. I did get a chance to test a Feather Industries 9 or 45, which is kind of like breaks down into different components for easy transport. It kind of goes in looks like a pool cue case, and you open it up and you can put the gun together with like 5 parts. That thing was a lot of fun that I played around with. And so let me go and just share a little link with you for some of the weirdest guns that I just did a quick search on it to see what's out there. And there is some definitely unusual firearms that are out there for people to choose from. So this is something kind of fun. We always have these serious topics. If you guys want to click on the link over there, I've already put it on the gun channel side. We're good to go. Rich White, you back with us, man? There you are.
Yeah. As soon as I jumped in, my home internet crashed, so I went and jumped over onto the Wi-Fi.
Oh, there you go. So tell us a little bit about your channel. What can one expect to find if they go over there?
Bunch of live shows.
Cool. What kind of shows do you do?
A little bit of everything. We talk some guns, we talk some news and stuff like that.
Cool. All right, man. Cool. I appreciate you being here. And the state that let us know, what state are you in, and what are some of the firearms transportation laws that you got to follow?
We're in West Virginia. We can just transport whatever we want.
Loaded shotguns, loaded rifles, loaded handguns, concealed doesn't matter.
Yeah, because we have the constitutional carry and everything, so we really don't have any limitations on what. I mean, you're really not supposed to transport a rifle loaded, but nobody really pays attention to that anymore.
When you say you're really not supposed to, is there a law that says if you do it, you can get in trouble for it, or is it just?
There was, but I don't know if anybody even follows it. Because it's one of those situations where, depending where you live in the state, everybody's got their loaded hunting rifle in their truck or a shotgun or what have you.
Yeah. All right. One thing I forgot to mention for Nebraska is if you don't have your concealed carry permit, they want your firearm either on the passenger seat or in the open somewhere in the driver's area where it's visible at all times, or on your dash. And so I don't know what the rules say you're supposed to do if you need to stow it, if you're going to leave your vehicle. I'm not exactly 100% sure on that, what you're supposed to do, but so that's how it is for Nebraska. If you don't have your concealed carry, if you do have your concealed carry, you can have it on you. You can have it anywhere in the car. You just have to inform the officer that you have it on you. I don't know if you have to inform him if it's loaded in the glove box or in the trunk, but I would just do it anyway. Just be careful. All right, so Night Strike just jumped in, and so did Adam Jimenez. So Night Strike, there he is. Night Strike, real quick. Concealed carry in your state, since you're a relatively newcomer to the concealed carry world, Night Strike, what are the rules and laws you have to follow with transporting firearms in your state?
Wait, there's rules and laws?
I guess. I don't know. What did you have to do before you got your CCW when it comes to transporting firearms? Is it just unloaded in the open, or they have to be secured in a case, or what?
Travis, I'm in the South. Okay?
I understand that. I know.
We have castle doctrine here. So before I got my concealed carry, my handgun was loaded and either in the center console or the glove box because castle doctrine.
Okay, so it was there. So it does extend your vehicle, obviously. Yeah.
So as far as long guns, I don't know, but I don't know anyone that's ever gotten stopped
for having them loaded. So as long as you can't get to them while you're driving, I think that's the rule. Just as long as you can't reach them when you're driving.
So what about your rack in your pickup truck, the rifle rack? I mean, it would just have to be unloaded, but it can still be there?
If I had a pickup truck.
Yeah, but hypothetically speaking, you used to see that stuff all the time when we were kids.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore, but
you don't see that so much anymore because of all the liberals.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I haven't looked into, as far as, whether transporting them loaded or unloaded. I just, when I go, if I have to use a range that's not my backyard, I just keep my magazines loaded and I just take those with me.
Okay.
I don't leave the magazines in the rifle, though. I just.
Yeah.
You guys remember a couple years ago, speaking of the rifle rack in the truck, and that kid that got prosecuted in West Virginia, or they tried prosecuting in West Virginia because he forgot he had the hunting rifle in his truck. Now, in this state, as long as you have your concealed carry permit, you can actually have that in your car or truck on school property without it being a violation, as long as it doesn't need a vehicle. So if you're like, say, a teacher forgets to take their hunting rifle out of their truck, they're covered.
Okay.
They're not going to get in trouble for having that on school property.
And, we've got all these laws and rules and regulations, yet the answers are just so simple. It's not like we have to have all this complication and going from one state to the next. It's really a headache when you travel across states because you always talk about the FOPA things and whatnot, but then sometimes there's little specific laws you got to follow if the gun's not on you, or you don't have your CCW. Man.
I mean, in South Carolina, you can have the CCW on you.
Yeah.
That's just, you can do that. It's fine. But you can just leave it in the glove box or the center console, too.
Gotcha. All right, so Adam Jimenez is with us. So, Adam, I'm going to make sure that you're on the regular list. So, Adam, talk to us about Texas guns and transportation laws and concealed carry and stuff like that. What do you do for transportation of rifles and pistols?
Pistols, like if you same thing at Nice, right? They got that Castle Doctrine thing, but you can actually have it on you without a CCW.
Okay.
As long as you're like in your house, in your car, motor vehicle, even boats, like it extends to that way. You can, Go ahead.
So, I don't have to have a permit in order to have it in my center console or glove box.
No.
I don't have. Even in South Carolina, you don't have to have a permit for that. So.
And you don't have to have a permit here in Texas either.
Yeah.
And now, as far as the gun racks go, with the rifles and shotguns and stuff, you can have them loaded on there here in Texas.
Okay.
I don't know about anywhere else, but other than that, I technically don't have my CCW yet, but I will be getting it. You can't have it on school grounds, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you can't have it on your person in the school. You can have it in the actual parking lot.
Yeah. Nebraska's the same way on that.
Other than that, it's pretty much if you have a weapon on you, tell the cop, and that's pretty much it.
But with your open carry with handguns, you do have to have a license or permit to do that? Is that the one?
Yeah. If you are open carrying the handgun, you have to have a license.
Okay.
If it's a shotgun or AR or AK, whatever long gun you have, then you don't need one.
And so was that kind of the point that the open carry Texas guys were trying to make when they were carrying around in public places their AKs and ARs and stuff? Saying we can do this, but we can't do a pistol. Why? Why do I have to have a license or a permit or your permission to do something I can already do on a much more grand scale, so to speak, right?
Yep. That's pretty much their whole argument. And fuck that guy who shot it down in the courts. What was it, like 4 days ago? Some shit like that. Not in the courts, in Congress.
Yeah. Now,
that was because of what somebody did, right?
I'm sorry?
That was because of what somebody did. Somebody went to his house or something?
Yeah, they say that they went to his house, but what actually happened, again, this is according to Matt. I haven't done the research on it, but according to Matt, what they did is they put flyers around his neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
I'd heard about that, too. So Adam, question for you then. You've got your AR-15. What's going to work for you for transport to and from the range, traveling out of state? Are you going to have a soft case for it? Do you pick up a hard case? What do you do?
I got a I don't even know where the hell the case is at, but no, I do have a hard case for it.
Okay.
If it's going to the range, I could just freaking
Throw in the back
in
seat.
the trunk, and that's it.
That's what I do too. It's kind of nice, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, I usually just for everybody else, I put it in the fucking case, and put ammos and my loaded mags in there too. But yeah, it go into the range.
Okay, and then for the handgun, since you don't have the CCW, what works for you for just transporting the pistol? And you got a little hard case you put it in, or soft case, or do you have a vehicle holster mount or anything like that, or a magnet, or what?
I do not carry my gun ever outside of my vehicle.
You don't. You could with the permit if you wanted to open carry.
No. Yes.
Yes. You could.
Legally, I do not carry it outside of my car. Legally.
Gotcha. Okay. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, fair enough. All right. Okay. So, all right. So we're going to move on to the next segment. Anybody else want to say anything real quick before we go on with the whole firearms transportation, talking about the options and what you can do?
I'd like to see FOPA become the law of the land, and then states have the right to only make it easier to transport, but not make it harder than FOPA. But unfortunately, our federal government doesn't do anything about that. They'll withhold funding for schools if you don't put transgender bathrooms in there, but they won't withhold funding if the state says, we don't care what FOPA says, we're going to do what we want. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
In some cases, certain cities, like New York City, don't carry a magazine over 10 rounds if you're going to LaGuardia or JFK.
Yep.
They'll arrest you right there in the airport just for having it.
I'm tired of the segregation of constitutional rights.
You're not going to leave the airport. You're just waiting for your next flight to wherever your actual final destination is. They don't care. They'll arrest you. It's happened multiple times. And as far as transporting here, West Virginia's got this weird law, right? When it comes to carrying on college campuses, there's no actual law saying that you can't do it. But if you're a student or administrator that's caught doing it, you could be expelled or fired for doing it, even though it's not criminally illegal.
I mean, that goes like the same way about doing marijuana, right? Like it may be legal, but the people that you work for might not want you to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because it's still federally illegal. I mean, I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm just saying in general, there's still that federal law that is still the law of the land, unfortunately, Mad Sexy Man of the Night says, in California, if you have a pistol, it has to be locked and then put in the trunk. If it's a rifle, cardboard box or something to cover it, ammo must be in separate compartments or locked. And so that's, it does not make it easy for you.
So that's kind of sounds like the TSA rules, right?
Oh, when it comes to transporting, I don't know. I've never flown with a firearm before. There was a time when I knew the laws and the rules about it and stuff. I haven't had a chance to fly with one, but
so you have to. The gun must be unloaded, the magazines must be unloaded, and the ammo must be in a separate place.
Separate storage box or transportation box or something like that. Yeah.
And the only thing that needs to be locked is the actual gun itself, not the ammo case.
And you need to watch out because there's been people that have been arrested because they've had layovers in certain cities that don't allow, they've gotten busted for flying, going through the airports with their firearms concealed. I think people have been arrested in New York, if I'm not mistaken, because they had to take possession of their firearms to go grab an adjoining flight, or they had to take it to hand it off to the next person.
That's what I was just talking about. I mean, even so much as having a magazine, they'll arrest you for it.
It's ridiculous. It's so stupid.
Yeah. And not only that, you also got to worry about airport employees stealing your firearms out of their cases. There was a case. I think it was on Gary's show last week or Snob show this Saturday. We were talking about it, where a guy in Portland, Oregon was just sentenced to, I forget how many years, because he was caught stealing guns out of people's luggage. He had stolen like three 9mm, 240s, and a 45 out of people's luggage.
And what blows my mind is I see this on the news quite a bit. They show how many people have tried to travel without following the rules and laws. They show these piles and piles of guns, and I get it with knives. You forget you got your pocket knife in your pocket, and you got to give it up there, and you lose it. But yeah, they're just mounds of guns, basically, just tables full of guns. And I don't know if that's for so many years or 1 year. They have pistols, and they've got like sawed-off shotties and stuff. And people have tried to get this stuff in their carry-ons, maybe because they didn't want to bother trying to do it the way the rules are written that you're supposed to follow. They just think that you can, right? And again, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong. I think you should be able to carry on you all the time with your weapon secured on you. But, still, it's just kind of crazy. So, man, got to be careful when you do those things. But definitely do educate yourself on the laws and the rules. Obviously, we don't want anybody. We're not lawyers. This is not legal advice. We're just talking about our own experiences. And a lot of us don't even know if something's really 100%. You've never heard of somebody getting busted for something, but people do it anyway. I mean, a lot of us don't even necessarily know ourselves. And again, they were, like we said, we saw in the chat earlier, they're basically written by people that don't know the laws and rules or understand gun culture. And they try to make up the rules for people that try to follow the rules and the law. So it's just a big headache. But all right, so let's have a little bit of fun here. We're just going to take a look at some weird guns. I don't know if you guys have heard of any of these before or seen them. Some of these might be some one-offs. Some of these might be just like they were small production numbers. We're kind of talking, I put down novelty guns earlier, and I wanted to change it to just weird guns in general. I don't know if you consider a novelty gun, it's something that doesn't necessarily follow the formula for being a traditional gun, but it still functions as a gun. I think about that little NAA revolver, which I shot.
We saw that one in Tulsa.
The Apache revolver or the NAA?
Yeah, the Apache revolver.
Did they have one for sale?
They had one in the in J.M. Davis, remember?
Oof, yes. It became a Swiss Army knife of sorts for thieves of the French underworld in the 1900s. Its parts include a knife, a pistol, and a set of brass knuckles that easily fold together for convenience. Because this pistol has no barrel, its effective range is only a few feet. Which really, I mean, that's a viable way to to defend yourself. I mean, it would have its purpose. I'm not saying that I would never take one, but that's one of them. The next one, I've never seen this before, and I thought I knew everything about Magpul. I don't know anything.
I've seen that one before.
The FMG-9. It says this prototype from Magpul looks like a box with a flashlight attached to it, but look a little bit closer and you see it's actually a submachine gun. It was developed as a personal protection weapon for the U.S. Secret Service or possibly law enforcement. The gun is small enough to be disguised as a small package or laptop battery, and it can fit in a pants pocket. So the Magpul FMG-9.
I think that's actually better than the Decepticlock.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, this guy's is a full-on little machine gun. I need to look up some pictures of it and see what it looks like. Unfortunately, they don't show when it's folded out. So the next one, this is just wicked, man. This is some serious James Bond stuff here. The Wasp knife.
I've seen that.
Yeah. No, it's not technically a gun, but it does shoot. This knife was designed as a self-defense weapon for divers and shoots out a blast of CO2 with the press of a button. Theoretically, the CO2 would rush into a shark's bloodstream and either freeze or overinflate its internal organs. The knife packs a compressed gas punch of 800 psi nearly instantly. So that would definitely have to do right there. You guys feel free to chime in. What's that?
That shark would have a bad day.
That's pretty crazy, man. That's pretty crazy. That's wow.
I think I'd rather have a shark stick. I don't know if you know what those are. It's basically a long stick, and at the end it has a little compartment where you put a 357 round. If the shark coming up at you, you stab the shark in the side with it. At point blank range, that 357 round ignites and penetrates.
You know the best way to avoid a shark? Don't go in
the water.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see, the next one we got is the 3-barreled pistol. This one looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, I've seen that one before.
Been floating around on the internet for a while now. Is it real? Is it fake? Nobody really knows. There's examples of 3-barrel pistols, but most of them have the barrels stacked on top of each other, not aligned up side by side. So that's for those crowded situations where you gotta make a hole to get through to escape. So
I'm pretty sure it would be real because they got one with 4 and they call it
Didn't they have one of those at J.M. Davis?
Man, they got everything at J.M. Davis.
I think I saw one of those at J.M. Davis.
Let's see, what's this? Ooh, here we go. The BTJ Derringer. The Derringer, is that a novelty gun? Is that a viable firearm? I think so. I think it's definitely going to work. This little Derringer. What's that?
People are still using Derringers, so
I would say it's a viable firearm. My wife had a Bond Arms Lady Bond for quite a while that she played around with. So this little Derringer is made by the Belmore Johnson Tool Company in Hamden, Connecticut, and it's chambered in 38 Special. There you go.
Ouch. That'll hurt.
Yeah, it might pop a little bit. Oh, here we go. The
Neosted 2000.
No, it's not pretty, but yes, it's a shotgun. The Neosted, a dual-barrel combat shotgun, is made by Truvelo, a South African company. South African companies make some of the most unusual-looking firearms. With a barrel length of 22.5 inches and a total length of 27 inches, the gun doesn't waste a lot of space. It's unique for its forward pump action. It has a 12-round capacity. So that'd be great for snow geese here in Nebraska where you don't have any kind of a cartridge limit, magazine tube limit. So that'll work out. Neosted 2000. Keltec bullpup shotgun. Any of you guys have one of these at all or not? Anybody
My
have a
son
chance to
has
fire
one.
one?
No.
Yeah, my son has one.
Okay, what do you think about it?
I don't know. He hasn't fired it yet.
Oh, I mean, I've tested a PMR 30. Is that the one that's the 22 Magnum pistol from Keltec, and it ran fine. I never had any problems with it. This is a 14+1 shotty. Yeah, a lot of us have seen that.
Is that the one that you can dual tubes or something?
Yeah, you probably have the. But
yeah, you can load like buckshot in one tube and then slugs in the other tube because it's got a little switch at the end where you can switch. You can have it where it feeds from both tubes at the same time, where you pocket one, or you rack slide once and it feeds from one tube, then it'll alternate back and forth.
Yeah.
Or you can set it to where it only feeds from one side or the other.
Nice. There you go. There you go. Oh my God, what is this? The APS underwater assault rifle. Have you guys seen this thing? Why use a spear gun when you can take your assault rifle underwater? The logic gave birth to the Soviet Union's APS in the 1970s. This gun was a derivative of the AK-47 and specifically designed to shoot underwater. It fired steel 5.66 millimeter rounds and had a barrel that wasn't rifled, which made the gun inaccurate when fired out of the water. But underwater, it was more powerful than a spear gun. It could hold up to 26 cartridges. So,
how long before the steel casings rust?
I don't know. That's a good question because you're going to take that into seawater. I mean, you think the
lacquer
internal of
coated.
that thing would be?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, okay. Speaking of lacquer coating, AWAG is here. AWAG, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Howdy, I'm okay. My hands are covered in a mysterious black grease because I was working on the Supra, and
oh, I was gonna say Cosmoline. What?
no, it's mysterious black liquid that comes from the intake manifold. So
interesting. So, what's new on the channel? You gonna have some content coming up anytime soon? What's new in your world, man?
I don't know. I got some stupid ideas bouncing around in my head.
Well, you're young. You're supposed to. That's what you're supposed to do.
There is no such thing as a stupid idea, AWAG. It's just stupid people.
Exactly.
Okay, I got some really crazy ideas bouncing around in my head. I don't know. You're definitely going to see some outdoor woodsy footage sometime in the near future because next week, next Sunday actually, I am going to South Carolina. So I'm going to be out in the woods for a whole week. So hopefully see some footage of that afterwards.
Cool. Very cool. All right, man. Okay, let's go ahead and continue with a few more just weird guns. This next one, I don't necessarily agree with this. Let me go back to screen share with you guys here. And if I happen to end the podcast early, it's because I hit the wrong button. So this can, in fact, happen occasionally when you're running these things. So moving it back here, weirdest guns. I don't agree with this one. The Steyr. I always thought it was cool. I wouldn't say it was necessarily weird because it's a bullpup. I think they were kind of struggling to fill out the ranks on this one.
I mean, when it came out, it was weird, right? I mean, just the...
Oh, there had been several different. I mean, bullpup designs go back a long time. I mean, it's 1960s. Did we have them before the 1960s or not? I'm trying to think.
Doesn't Australia use the Steyr as their main battle rifle or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they use Oxford.
I honestly think the FAMAS is even more weird than the AUG.
Yeah.
So the first one came out in 1918.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
Okay. Next one here looks like something from like Buck Rogers, the Grendel P30. I remember this one. Is this like a top loader or something? Inexpensive and awkwardly named Grendel, was chambered in 22 Winchester Magnum. It uses a 30-round magazine and came with either 5-inch or 8-inch barrel. The Grendel had a short life and was only manufactured from 1990 to 1994. But yeah, wasn't that one where you had to load it from the top? You guys seen this one before? Like you put the magazine in through the top of it? Maybe I'm wrong about that.
No, I think you're thinking of the Steyr 1918.
That? Oh, I thought this was one of those ones too. So yeah, it's probably collectible at this point. Now what is this? The Grad 22 RS knife gun. Okay, hey, a knife gun. There you go.
He was shot with a knife.
Don't bring a knife to a gunfight unless, of course, your knife is also a gun. The gun knife holds 5.22 caliber bullets and a revolver type loader and fires when you pull the trigger on the handle. With the right ammunition, it can shoot 3-inch groups at 100 yards. Just kidding. Yeah, that would be a bit of a stretch, I would think. So,
could you imagine though? He was shot with a knife from 100 yards away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they would probably find the projectile, but here we go. The Sten gun. Do you guys think that's a weird design? I think it's just
weird.
publicity
I
at
think it was just kind of slapped together, and that's what kind of makes it weird.
Yeah. To me, it kind of looks like something you put together from like maybe some piping or tubing or something you got sitting around the house. And
They needed something they could rapid manufacture easily. It's just like the grease gun, the M3 grease gun. So it's just one of those things, production for big war.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had a chance to shoot one of those, like semi-automatic or like a replica of it or anything like that? You guys ever tried one?
I shot a real fully functional fun stand before.
Oh, nice. What'd you think about that?
I liked it. I want to buy one. You could buy parts kits for them for like $120.
Oh, man. Is there anybody making a reproduction semi-automatic version of those right now? No? Okay. Interesting.
I wish I could.
We talked about this before. It'd be cool if there were more reproduction semi-automatic guns out there of World War II classics and things. Just a few more out there, like or World War I and whatnot. I think there'd definitely be a market for it, especially if you're kind of not getting bored of firearms, but you're kind of at a point where you feel like you own a lot of what you want. The next one is the Stinger pen gun. Novelty pen gun shoots a 22 caliber round, but doesn't actually write. As you can see, it must be folded at an angle to shoot. Disguised guns of this nature are illegal in many states. Interesting. Probably because it's just so simple. You can just throw it in your pencil box and forget about it and only grab it if you need it. So.
And then the child takes it to school.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Dad, where's my marker? It's up there on the table. It's up on the workbench. Mm-hmm. He pulls that thing out in the middle of geometry class with his protractor and compass. The ranch hand lever action pistol. Anybody
the mare's leg? That's the mare's leg.
Yeah.
That's not odd. It's just cool.
Hey, Travis.
I agree totally. Yeah.
If you look at the side chat on Google Hangouts, man, Atlantic Firearms makes a replica of that Stein.
The Sten gun? Oh, Atlantic Firearms does that one.
No, it's sold out.
There was a guy at the range yesterday with one of those.
That is awesome, man. I'll have to check that out. I wonder if they're still in production or if that's just kind of a one-time run that they got from that, or Yeah. So have you guys ever fired one of these mare's legs before at all, or not?
Never shot a lever gun before.
No. Okay. So it says you can get it in 38, 357, 45 Colt, or 44 mag. I think they're cool, man. I like those. Oh, here we go. The Gun Watch. The Gun Watch. That's a new one. What is this all about? The owners of this Gun Watch claim that it's real, but the jury's still out. Apparently, it shoots a 0.3 millimeter round and has a push button trigger. Or its face, it has fake hands since all the normal watch workings are removed for space. I mean, you could pretty much put, like a 22 type action in just about any small enough space if you can actuate it properly. It's definitely one of those ones that's out there. Oh man, we're getting some. What in God's green earth is this? What?
Oh, that's the corner shot.
The bent barrel Sturmgewehr, right?
It's the corner shot.
You've seen this thing before?
The corner shot.
Yeah, it's legit. They took an STG 44 and they put a bent barrel on it so you could shoot around corners. It's for urban combat. Yeah, it lasts about 100 rounds before it destroys the barrel.
Okay.
Travis, it's the Krumloff. You see that right there?
It looks like a nice side table. You could set your drinks on when you get home from work. And
Travis, I'm screen sharing as well. But if you look without the stand, because I believe that stand is used for the when you're messing with.
Oh, okay.
Is used for bunkers. This one is specifically just used for corners.
Okay.
So you can swivel it left or right for corners.
Oh, interesting.
Is it just an attachment, or is the barrel actually made that?
All it is just an attachment.
Yeah, and they had them where you could have them like in coming out of armored vehicles and.
Oh, okay.
They did rifle those attachments, did they?
Some of them they did, some of them they didn't. It just depends.
Yeah. If it was me, I would rifle it just so it would have somewhere to go.
Well, the problem with rifling it was hard to get the rifling where it lined up with the rifling inside the rifle itself. So it was easier it was actually easier to just have them where they would be smooth bore.
Yeah, it says you can get the best results were with the 30-degree barrels, which could shoot 14-inch groups at 100 yards. So, man.
Yeah,
have you guys seen the Israeli military weapons that they were testing, like the little it almost looked like a macaroni, but you could pull a knob on it. It would flick 90 degrees. You could shoot around corners with it and stuff.
It's called the Krumlauf, and that's Krummlauf, and it was just a Sturmgewehr with a 44 with the a 90-degree barrel bend on it.
No, the gun that I'm talking about, it's a modern firearm. It's new. Yeah.
So it's the gun itself is like attached into some like bracket thing. You click a button and it'll go around. And what you can see though on your side is like the little screen that goes with it.
Yeah.
Those things are freaking awesome.
Or something, so you could actually see around corners for like.
Oh yeah, those new ones. Yeah.
I think this would be a good one. I like this one, the palm pistol. There you go.
Those aren't new. Those have been around since like the 1800s.
It says it looks more like an asthma inhaler than a pistol, but this thing apparently holds a single 38 special round. It's held in your fist like a hand exerciser for increasing grip strength and fires from the push thumb. So, yeah.
That'd be pretty easy to shoot, though, right? Because it's just going straight into your palm, and then, yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
It's made by a company called Constitution Arms. They claim that it's ergonomic, it's accurate, and it's able to be fired by people who lack the grip strength to pull a trigger on a regular handgun. So, there you go. That's
so you
it.
Punch somebody and then you pull the trigger.
That would be one way to do it, I suppose, if you wanted to make that thing effective. So yeah, or like a belly gun or whatnot, I guess. Oh yeah, we've seen this one before. The SS.
Mm-hmm.
This one before, yeah, the belt buckle gun, the belt buckle pistol. Oh, here we go, taking it back to the 80s. Is that a pager? What's the cell phone gun?
That's a cell phone.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. It says, looks like somebody took the James Bond movies a bit too seriously. This gun disguised as a cell phone. Allegedly is the key word here. Fires 22 caliber rounds by pressing digits on the keypad. It's the size of a normal cell phone, but doesn't take calls, send text messages, receive emails. So the cell phone gun isn't all that bad. So.
Dial 911 for 22 long rifle.
Here you go, the Mossberg chainsaw. All right. Mossberg rolled out its new 500 chainsaw at the SHOT Show earlier this year. I don't know what year this is from. This looks like something from like the 90s or something. You hold it like a chainsaw with your left hand on the handle that's mounted to the pump. Got plenty of attention at SHOT Show and left most people wondering, what do we use it for? Zombies.
They now make the shockwave in that variety too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes they do. So. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead. What's that?
So, can you actually put a chainsaw on the bottom of that? Because if so,
isn't there somebody that makes a mod or some sort of a bracket or something you could put an actual chainsaw on an AR-15?
So what you're saying is somebody watched G.I. Joe a little too much.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen functional Gears of War. Well, not functional, but I've seen the prop rifles that have an actual chainsaw that's built into the frame of the gun, which you could do if you had like an electric chainsaw. You could put all the internals in the firearm itself. So that's a possibility. But no, I've never attached a chainsaw to any of my firearms, but I've not had an opportunity to. It'd be kind of hard to use it upside down. It'd be kind of messy, actually. It'd be spraying oil all over the bottom of your barrel and stuff while you're trying to use it. So yeah, it'd be kind of a bit of a pain. So I don't know. Any other weird guns that come to mind, guys? You could think of anything out there that
a lot of those Chinese copy handguns. I don't know if you ever saw the video that Ian from Forgotten Weapons did. They didn't know what things did, so they would just like mold them.
Oh yeah.
Oh God! How'd you like to test those?
Oh, they work, right? Like they actually do work, but it's just they're bad copies.
Yeah, the guns will actually fire, but if you got like one of their 1911 copies. The grip safety is actually just there for decoration, and for some safety, they don't actually move. They're just part of the frame.
Excuse me, you have 2 hands and 10 fingers. Yes, you're hired. We're looking for product testers to work for our manufacturing facility. Oh man, crazy stuff. Okay. So Adam, why don't you tell us about your challenge that's going on and your challenge?
Yeah.
Your first and only YouTube video is up now. Have you added a second video yet?
Nope. I don't know if I'm going to do anymore because I pretty much said what I needed to say.
That, dude, it's an addiction. Don't even go there. It's a big one video.
Yeah, I pretty much said what I wanted to say in that video, and it sounded pretty good. So if I want to do any more, I might, but it won't be as good as the first one, right? So the challenge is I want everybody to make a video. Could be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, about what the Second Amendment means to you. I already made mine. Everybody who's seen it needs to make one. And I have it in the side chat there if you want to post it on your channel, on your YouTube.
Yeah, me go ahead and click on your video here, and I'll put it over on the gun channel side and put it on the YouTube side. So
and then challenge other people to do the same. If you don't do this and you're on this panel, I will find you, hunt you down.
Do it, you won't.
And then make you watch.
Pretty easy to find, unfortunately. So yeah. All right, let me get this over on the YouTube side. So, and what did you say again that you wanted people to mention in the video?
What the Second Amendment means to them. It could be whatever it is, right? Against a tyrannical government. I don't care, but make it your own.
Yeah.
And get our voices out there. I see a lot of people doing a lot of, ranting and raving about stuff, which is fine, is what we need as well. But I think we're kind of losing the message on what the Second Amendment means to us as well.
There you go. And you can see a lot of places around the world where they don't have that Second Amendment. And what happens to people? I have a lot of people that will comment on my videos from foreign countries, and especially Brazil is a big one for whatever reason. And there you're limited if you're a civilian to 380, if I'm not mistaken. Really hard to get
Brazil just recently lessened the restriction.
Yeah, they did, and people have been really happy about that. Yeah. But you look at other places like in some of the Asian countries where you're not allowed to have any firearms at all. Europe, they're highly regulated. There's just look at what's going on in New Zealand and Australia right now, talking to Vandalisca vlogs, and there's a gun channel. I think it's like Aussie.
New Zealand's getting rid of guns, all of them.
Yeah. I mean, they just passed that on a whim, and that's a place that the firearms were popular. That was definitely. I remember. I think Vandal posted some pictures where you can just go walk into a store and get yourself a suppressor like it's nothing. So I don't know. That's pretty crazy, but
there should be a law against reactionary lawmaking.
Oh man, yeah, a law of sanity where you're not allowed to do things like that.
Yeah.
To have volatile rage, just on a whim, just strip away. But again, there are countries that where you don't have a right to self-defense. You don't have a right to self-preservation. I had this moment last time we talked about this. I can't even imagine not having the right to be able to defend yourself. Or if you do, there's rules you have to follow if you want to save your own life. I can't even comprehend. That's just just as a human being, you are worth absolutely nothing because you cannot defend yourself if you need to, and if you do, you're going to go to jail. What kind of garbage is that?
The difference is, Travis, in New Zealand and Australia, they waited for the British to leave. In America, we kicked their butts out of America. Okay, that's the difference. America, the colonies grew up here, while Australia and New Zealand just waited for them to leave.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, in the case of Australia, they didn't have to kick the British out. The British saw the wildlife and were like, "Oh, we're getting the hell out of here. This place is too crazy."
Australia was a prison colony.
Yeah, I know that. But there's a prison colony of self-rule on the prisoners because after a while, the British pulled out and left the prisoners behind. I'm telling you, they took one look at the animals in Australia and were like, "We're getting out of here. These animals are crazier than what these prisoners are."
So here's what Jim says. He goes, you do have the right. These countries just don't recognize it. Yeah, they won't just let you be able to defend yourself. They have to regulate how you cannot defend yourself, Yeah, everybody should have a natural human right to defend themselves against somebody that wants to do you harm. What's the point of even having civilization if you can't even exist, I mean, there's no point at all, It doesn't make any – man.
Yeah, remember in the UK, if you have just so much as a baseball bat in your room and you don't have any other baseball paraphernalia in your room, that bat is a weapon, whether or not you plan on using it as a weapon or not.
Thought police, you've got this intention, even though you haven't done anything or said anything. You've got this intention, this natural intention, even though you're like, no, man, I bought a garage for 50 cents. I want to play catch with my kid, I would not fit in well in the UK. I have too much logic for people that too much logical thinking. So. Good God.
But also, they think differently, too.
Yeah, it's probably kind of a brainwashed mindset from when kids are little that you don't have that right and guns are bad and bad things. I mean, it's just nuts. It's crazy.
Can you imagine what would happen if you had the audacity in the UK to make a replica of Lucille?
Oh, Jesus.
That would be a national outcry, man. I'll tell you what.
We did forget one of the... weirdest guns I think I've seen is the punt gun. You ever heard about that?
Oh yeah, it's got that fucking barrel on it.
Yeah, that's one where you put it on a boat.
What was the point?
They were for duck hunting. You would mount it on your boat and use it for duck hunting. The ducks would all fall down, and you'd fly backwards 10 feet.
Well, what better way to get your bag limit in 5 minutes instead of spending a whole weekend sloshing through the muck, wearing your hip waders? We can just sit on the shore and just lob a bunch of pepper spray out there and let the retrievers go to town. I think it's great.
I don't know, man. That thing weighs about 250 pounds.
Yeah. See, there you go. It's easy to use. I mean, you got to be very careful about how you got to know migration patterns. It's a challenge to use a punt gun. I don't care what anybody says.
All right, Travis. Next time I come to Nebraska, we're pulling the punt gun out of your safe. We're taking it to the range.
There's a shotgun that I saw at SHOT Show a couple of years ago, and it had like a 50-round capacity. It was a semi-automatic. Well, in Nebraska for snow geese, there's no magazine capacity and there's no bag limit. That thing would just be that'd be fun. You could just get your whole harvest of meat for the entire year in about 45 seconds, and you're done. So there you go.
Imagine if you had a whole team of people with them.
Yeah. Heck yeah. So
like 5 people to run a punt gun. You had 2. One person was controlling the boat. One person was reloading the darn thing. They were muzzle loaders.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You had 2 people that were loading it. You had one guy ramming down the shot, and the other one powder and all this other stuff going into the thing. Then you had the one idiot who was brave enough to actually stand behind the thing and pull the trigger.
Are there any for sale online? Because I'm kind of curious. Is there any laws or regulations with owning one?
No, I think it's still classified as a shotgun.
Yeah,
it's an extremely large shotgun used in the 19th and early 20th centuries for shooting large numbers of waterfowl.
Aren't they percussion? So wouldn't they still be black powder?
Oh yeah,
they were black powder. They were black powder muzzle loading shotguns.
You can have one delivered straight to your door, man.
And
here we go. It says that they were banned for some reason. What was the reason why they were banned?
Over
they killed 50 waterfowl resting on the water surface. They were too big to hold on to. Let's see. I'll read about it later, but
these were definitely something you had to have mounted on a boat. You weren't going to shoulder fire the thing.
Yeah.
It'd be like those pictures from World War I where you had those guys with those really long barrel rifles that were supposed to be anti-tank weapons, where you had a guy at the front holding it while somebody behind them firing the thing.
It's like flip a coin for who's going to be behind the trigger. Man, again, get up there. So we're down to about 12 minutes here before I'm going to call it. I don't want to work anybody else's shows this evening. Real quick, just a little teaser about what's coming up on the channel. We've got the 224 Valkyrie upper. Now, before you laugh me out of here and you called a little hipster round and this and that and jumping on the bandwagon, I went to Cabela's, and I got a friend that works at Cabela's, and he told me they can't even keep ammunition on the shelves for 224 Valkyrie. It is that popular right now. And I'm not just saying that because I want you to go out and buy one of these, but like the Federal, if I would have known I was going to have this much trouble finding ammo, they had like 6 different tags for 224 Valkyrie ammo. They had 2 random boxes sitting on the shelf, and they were both about $40 a box, match grade ammo. I want to dial this thing in with some American Eagle and then move up to some Hornady match. So I'm going to try to pick up some ammo for it this weekend if I can find some. I want to take it out. So it's an 18-inch upper, and again, it's a Bear Creek Arsenal upper. And I already posted the video on this, so there's no surprises about it. Magazine, well, AWAG, can I use 5.56 mags with 224 Valkyrie?
I mean, you should be able to.
I got to look that up again.
I think that was their point was that you could.
What's that?
I think that was their intent that you could use 223 magazines with them.
I've read it's not going to be 100% reliable, so I went ahead and ordered a 10-round ASC mag, which is a, 6.5 SPC/224 Valkyrie magazine, 6.5, 6.8. No, is it 6.5 SPC? Help me out here, guys.
It's 6.8.
You can share magazines between the 224 Valkyrie and that. It's supposed to be a much more reliable feed. Well, unfortunately, the magazine is back ordered for 7. I mean, I ordered it, and then I got a notice 7 days later saying, we're behind on our shipping. It's going to be another week. So this is going to probably be delayed a little bit before I get a chance to go out and shoot it. I could single shot it, and it's going to lock the bolt. I wouldn't even lock the bolt open, actually, because I wouldn't have a magazine in there, but I could just do single shots if I wanted to.
Or you can use a standard AR-15 magazine and test the reliability.
I could. I just didn't know if I wanted to gather everything up and go out there and set up all the targets and stuff. I can go to a closer range where I could just run a few through and see if it'll feed 5. I've got a 5-round PMAG or 10-round PMAG I could use with it too. That might give me a little bit better luck.
So you said it's 224, right?
224 Valkyrie. Yeah.
That shit's fucking expensive.
No, it's not. No, American Eagle is $8.99 a box for 20. $9.99 a box. Walmart, or not Walmart, but Cabela's was $12.99 a box, but you can buy it online for $8.90. If you go to ammoseek.com and you look up the ammo, you can spend as little as $10 a box. Federal did that because they wanted you to be able to get in the long range shooting and not blow the bank on ammo. You can spend $35, $36 a box on that, but you can do that on 6.5 Creedmoor or 243 or 30-06. You can get into some of the more custom match grade ammo. You can spend about the same amount of money. This one gets you into the 1,000-yard club, and you don't have to break the bank, which is really nice. So, and these are complete uppers for this are $244, and there's some discount codes that are floating around on the Bear Creek website if you guys are interested. And then this is my my Brown Bear M4 lower. So they wanted to send me, Bear Creek wanted to send me an entire firearm. I didn't want to mess with it because I didn't want to have to go through a transfer and then what's going to happen to it when I'm done with it and stuff. So they just sent me the upper, and I'm just using my Bear Creek lower with it, which is perfectly fine. And this is just the center point scope. It's just kind of my tester for a lot of different rifles. I don't want to put the Vortex on here because I have that set. I'm going to be dialing in the 6.5 Creedmoor, so that's going to stay on that. But this one just kind of bounces between different firearms on the channel. And but yeah, no, 224 Valkyrie is not expensive. That's one of the best things about it. When they designed it, it was made so that it would be inexpensive to get into and practice with. There's really bad reviews on the American Eagle ammo when it first came out, so I'm kind of curious to see if it's going to be any better now because it does not. It's not rated on the federal website, huh?
Yeah, so I'm looking at prices on one of my sites here that I like to go to, but yeah. I mean, most of it's over $15 or $20. Okay, I mean, yeah, you have under, like, you know, for like blinking ammo or stuff, it's under $10. It's $8.99, but yeah, that's still kind of out there for.
That's not if you get into any kind of match. That 6.5 Creedmoor ammo. If you watch my tests, the Hornady Black and the Hornady Match and the Hornady Super Performance ammo, the 6.5 Creedmoor that I was testing in the Ruger Precision Rifle, that was $36 a box, and $29.99 was the best I could get it for online for 20 rounds. Jeez. So no, when you get into match grade precision ammo, you pay $1 per round or more. I mean, hey, Wag, you want to back me up on this? You're more of a long distance guy. You're more of a precision guy. You can reload it cheaper, but I'm not set up for these calibers yet. So
yeah, even 5.56 that's set up for any kind of distance shooting, like Match King ammo and whatnot.
Yeah,
it's going to cost you all arm and a leg compared to what your standard 5.56 Plinken ammo would.
Well, to tell you the truth, 55 grain 5.56 can get you out to 600 yards, no problem. And, you know, 600 yards is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah. Yeah, just looking at the 224 Valkyrie, and I just went over to AmmoSeek. You can get it for $8.88 per box of 20. Now, I looked these places up, and the shipping is like $14 minimum to start shipping. So that's why if I get it, I was going to get 5 or 6 boxes initially. Just to
you can get, there's a what did I say on Lucky Gunner? They have one for 200 rounds for $120, but I believe it's with free shipping.
Okay.
So I don't know. That might.
Yeah, and you're right though. Once you start to get away from that American Eagle, then that's like the bulk of what you see for sale in here. Once you get above that, you're looking at $30, $35 a box. But I think I could get I think they had the Hornady Match for only $22.99 for a box of 20. So I was going to get 40 rounds of that and maybe 60 rounds of American Eagle to dial it in, and then really have some fun with the Match. I really like that. I've had good luck with that in several rifles that we tested on the channel.
Yeah,
so.
Uncle Zoe on the YouTube side saying Hornady Match and 338 LeFou is $100 a box.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Try it. I'm not going to try that. I dropped enough money on 6.5 Creedmoor. I'll never make my money back on it in those videos. I'll tell you that right now. I did.
So this is why you just go 4.58 SOCOM.
Yep.
338 LeFou Magnum though is like screw you and everything in 1200 to farther. I kind of want to buy a 338 LeFou Magnum, but since I don't have a job right now, I can't exactly do that.
And I think 224 Valkyrie can get you out to 1,200 or 1,300 yards too if you've got the right amount of adjustment on your scope for it. You can compensate for it. So it does start to drop off, pretty significantly once you get past 500 or 600 yards. And I'm not saying it's the magical caliber because there's been a lot of people that said it's not everything they rack it up to be. I think people are expecting to get 1-inch groups at 1,000 yards, and that's not what it's about. It's about pegging a 12-inch gong at 1,000 yards or a 16-inch gong at 1,000 yards. So you're not going to get what you expect. I'm going to group it at just do like 100 and 200 yards. Then I'm just going to shoot steel as far out as I can possibly hit as far as my optics will take me. So I don't think I'll get the distance that a lot of other YouTube channels get because I don't usually go past 600 yards, 700 yards. But we'll see what we can do. Let's see, just to address something real quick, tacos and french fries. So, Solo Yacker, you're more than welcome to be on Caliber Corner. You just need to send me an email to thecalibercorner@gmail.com, and I'll get you on here. If you go to my main page on YouTube, you can email me through that also if you want to. I didn't exactly address you about coming onto the show live at that point. I just read your email that was forwarded to me. So let's see. Calaveras 32 Special says a 5.56 mag should work. Hear that 6.5 Grendel or 6.5 SPC work better. Yeah, the magazine I bought from ASC or from Gun Mag Warehouse, it's a 6.5 SPC /224 Valkyrie mag. I think I paid like $15 for it. So let's see here. Patrick is saying you can't find 224 Valkyrie because Johnny Morris won't stock ammo that customers want at Bass Pro Shops or Cabela's. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I can find some pretty good deals on ammo there when I'm looking, but not always what I want. So that can be a problem. I'm probably just going to end up ordering ammo online and just be done with it. I'm going to have to get, just because I'm having trouble getting it's an 80-mile round trip to run to Cabela's and back. So I was pretty empty-handed when I came back that night. Bought some 300 blackout, but it's all good. So, okay, we're sitting at 6:57 on my time. We're going to go and wrap it up. So we'll let everybody just say a few words before we go. Plug the channel. Let us know what's going down. And again, I want to thank everybody for being here. Everybody that was on the panel that's taken off and everybody that's here. Hopefully kind of cleared the air a little bit about, vehicle transport of firearms, concealed, non-concealed rifles, long guns, all that fun stuff. So, Adam, we'll go ahead and start off with you. So anything you want to say before we go, bud?
Do the challenge now.
I will get mine done today, actually. I will go ahead and do it after this. Got to give the wife a call here. And after that, I think I'll go ahead and make my video and we'll post it.
Perfect.
Sounds good, man. All right. AWAG, anything you want to say before we go?
Stay tuned on my channel. I may plan on doing that challenge there, Adam. See, with some of my videos, I have to write a script first. And
I did with mine. So it's all right.
But that's how I do my videos. Is I always try to run to a script. Even though I say that I don't, I always have some form of dialogue that to keep me on track, because if you watch some of my older videos, I just go off on a tangent sometimes.
Oh, so you're the original.
I get tongue-tied when I'm speaking, and I have to start over, so that's my problem. I don't usually go off a script, but I should, because I'll forget things when I do the video. It's like, oh, God, I forgot to mention that. Oh, man. All right. Gizzard Gary, thanks for being here, bro.
Hey, well, thanks for having me. Check out my website, gizzardgary.com. Also, we're getting pretty close to 500 subs here on YouTube. I think we're sitting around 481. So if anybody care to subscribe, we can have us a 500 sub party here pretty soon. And sitting at 97 on Gunstreamer, so we could do 500, 100. So
there we go.
Looking forward to doing that. But once again, great show, and thanks for having me.
Awesome. Good having you here, man. My neighbor to the south. All right. And David Bowling was with us. David, thank you for chiming in, man. I appreciate you being here. It's always good to have you. You bring a lot of good thoughts to these chats, and I do appreciate that. Anything you want to say before we go, man?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure. And make sure you guys check out Roll Call 219 Wednesday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern. He has a show called Rants and Raves with our good friend here, Night Strike. And if you're not watching it, then you're missing out on good stuff.
It is a fun show to watch. I really do enjoy it, even though I kind of hijacked it with me shooting my 300 blackout pistol. I love listening to it. You guys are awesome. It's a great show.
Curse you, Travis P11.
And I like Foul Territory is a good one too. So there's a lot of good ones that are out there. So, all right. And Rich White, you want to say anything before we go? Or no. I gotta back it up. Night Strike. Anything before we go?
Guntube.org, nightstrike.com, and shall not be infringed.
And what's your username on farmersonly.com?
I don't have one.
Oh.
I'm not signed up.
Really? All right.
Now you are.
Well, I am available.
95.
I am available for the ladies. The fact is, I haven't found a lady that is worth putting time and money into.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Night Strike, your new username is now PlowMyField95.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
I'm not even gonna. The farm names we could generate would just be unholy. See, he's got enough crap he deals with.
I've got enough. Don't do that anyway.
Oh man. Oh God. All right. So anyway, all right. But Night Strike, where can we find you? Where can one discover the kind of humor that you have and the kind of thought that you have for it? Where are you at?
You can find me on nightstrike.com, and that is Night Strike with a Y, exactly as it's spelled. You can also
The
check
ladies
me out
looking
on
for the
YouTube.
sophisticated man, right?
You can also find me on YouTube, Night Strike or Night Strike 1. I don't know which one it is. It's one of the two. And yeah, we do hit or miss every Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, of which, Travis, you are now the co-host of.
Oh, I don't have.
You've got more
approval.
responsibility now.
I don't have Smeggy's approval on that. That's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can go
you
there.
know, Smeggy hasn't showed up for months, so I'm making a call.
Hey, people have work obligations. You know, I'll just be the temporary stand-in. The stand-in co-host is good.
He's the substitute teacher.
He's the substitute teacher.
Substitute teacher.
No. See, you're the smegstitute teacher.
The smegstitute. You know, Thank you.
I think that was a movie, wasn't it? The Smegstitute.
The Smegstitute.
It might have been back in the day, but Also, check out the Friday Night Strike Friday at 6 p.m.
All right.
Eastern, by the way. Eastern.
Oh man, definitely check it out. That's a lot of good stuff. You gonna have one tomorrow night then, or what?
I'm gonna try. Sometimes I don't do it because I'm dealing with family, but I try and do it every week. But sometimes it doesn't work out. But tomorrow night should be good.
Cool. All right, finally, Rich, we get to you. Rich White, anything you want to say before we go?
Yeah, Sunday nights at 8 Eastern. Check out This Week Unloaded over on Unloaded Media Channel. And if you didn't see the closer this past Sunday, you really need to go back and watch that episode. We did what would happen? Who would survive a zombie apocalypse of various different gun channels members as a bracket?
Oh, how did I finish?
I don't know if you were one of the ones on the bracket, but
I definitely was not the one.
Yeah,
I mean, I have no skills and abilities whatsoever to defend myself, so I don't understand why.
Right.
It turned into mostly being a roast of everybody that ended up being on the bracket.
I think the only people that weren't on the panel that were on the bracket was G-Webs and Yankee.
Yeah, Matt. Yankee, G-Webs and Matt.
I wouldn't last because I fire these exotic calibers where I can't find ammo on the shelves. I'd be the first one to go because I'd be dry firing. So, yeah.
But it was actually pretty funny stuff. So if you haven't seen that episode, go back and watch that. The whole episode was just that bracket because we were roasting each other so bad during the bracket. It took the whole show to do it.
I'm gonna have to go back and check. I'll listen to it. I'm on the road here coming up. So. Sounds good. All right, man. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. And again, I have this automatic list that automatically brings up names. As soon as I type in Night Strike's names, it suggests the list of people I should also send an email to, because he's the first person I started inviting to this show. And so I got this pre-generated list, and it's like you and Black Hat Outdoors. I always have to manually add you guys, and Patriot in the Dark. I put one out to him too. And then Adam, hopefully you guys will start auto-populating. But if you want to get in, just always send me a message through gunchannels.com, and I'll send you guys a link if you want to, or email you or whatnot. So you guys are always welcome to come back here. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Squib. All right, man. So what do you think, Squib? You ready to call it a week or what?
Yeah, I'd like to, but not going to happen. I'm going to try to put out some more videos. I released a short one today. Hope everybody enjoys it. And I got some more in the pipe. Somebody made a request last night. And I did about 6 voiceovers on it, and each one of them ended with some swear words because I was flubbing my. I wasn't using a script. Not that I do well with a script, but I was just. It's kind of interesting to hear you guys talk earlier there about having some issues making videos, because I have the same sort of issues. So I don't know. One day maybe I'll just take a bunch of flubbed lines and just throw them in there, and all you're going to hear is swearing or just.
Rap music, modern rap music, is that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Forklifts.
Hey, real quick, guys, we did get a super chat here. So Dog Dad said, "Sorry, I missed it. I was with the client." And I believe that Dog Dad was the one that gave me the inspiration for this week's topics, talking about the transportation of firearms and the holsters and should you have on you, should you not? What do you do if you're in a comfortable driving position and you want to carry? So, Dog Dad, thank you so much. You can go back and listen to it. It's no big deal. It's all good. What's this, Adam? You just posted? Oh, that was from 633. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything on the side chat there. Squibby, anything else, man, before we go?
No,
I didn't want to
I mean,
off here, but I wanted to catch that super chat before I drop out. So
I was actually able to stay in the maintenance cage working on a project the whole time with these substandard tools, and able to be on the show. So I appreciate you putting up with me being at work and the background noise and everything else. It is nice that some of you guys try to work with me on this, and look forward to the next show. Thanks.
And then real quick, Uncle Zoe is asking for a shout out. Uncle Zoe over there on the YouTube side says, I'm attempting to start a channel blog. I'd appreciate people checking it out. So it's UNCLE space ZO, capital ZO. Check out Uncle Zoe's channel. Get over there and subscribe. And if there's a new channel getting going and it looks good, definitely get over there. And Uncle Zoe, why don't you come on over to gunchannels.com? We'll make you part of the family. There's kind of a bit of some hazing you got to go through. And, you know,
you have to give Night Strike a kiss.
Yeah, and there's some other stuff you have to do, plowing fields and stuff. But don't worry, you'll get it's no big deal. It's fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So, but anyway, no, I'm just kidding, man. Don't worry. Didn't mean to scare you away. So, guys, make sure you get over to gunchannels.com. G-Webs is posting some videos about some new patches that are coming out. Make sure you guys check those out. Make sure you guys support gunchannels.com. Make sure you support guntube.org. Get over there and post your two-way content. And man, I think that's pretty much about it, guys. So make sure you subscribe to everybody here on the panel. They got great channels, lots of great content. Even Adam, hint, some pressure for some more content, bro. And otherwise, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us for Caliber Corner number 90. We will see you all next Thursday. We'll have another topic coming up. Remember, if you ever have a topic or a suggestion for something you want to hear us talk about, you can email me at thecalibercorner@gmail.com. And I will look for your messages, and we will talk about it. We're still going off of the 10,000 subscriber suggestion list that was posted many, many moons ago. So, but we're almost out of topics. So anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. This has been episode number 90. I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe, and we will talk to you soon.
Choppy and Fridge.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Felicia.
Adios, Felicia.